While we go live on the stream here in just a minute, you'll see. There's not much that Lonzo and I enjoy more than being grown-up children who have the time of their lives for no reason at all. Which is why today, as Duel of the Fates echoes in the background, for those of you listening across the radio, and you're going, why this music? The answer is because the studio today occupied by both the light and the dark side of the Force. And while I am very proud and absolutely think that this incredible Jedi costume, cosplay caliber that I have put together is phenomenal, Lonzo has Vader's lightsaber and I don't, and that makes me quite jealous. Quite jealous. I feel the anger rising within me. But that's okay. That's okay, because even if Lonzo did pull off having an actual badass lightsaber as part of the costume today, show's going to be real good. Welcome in, friends. Happy Halloween. The only thing I have to say right now, Darth Lonzo, is that I have no idea how one would operate while wearing a hood that hangs halfway over your face. Forget actually engaging in a lightsaber battle while wearing it, because it's very frustrating even when using the Force.
I have skills, Rob Brown.
This is the show you're looking for. Welcome in, my dudes and dudettes. Happy Halloween to all of you. It is wonderful. I have to drop the hood for now because again, I can't see. But hey, it's Halloween. Let's get up, come on, get down with the Sithness. All right? You don't want to miss this Sith today, because what a show we got lined up for you over the next 4 hours of fun and shenanigans. Very busy day on the broadcast today. We got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about on the show today. Your World Series champions are the Los Angeles Dodgers, proving, ladies and gentlemen, that money can indeed buy happiness. Congratulations to the LA Dodgers for putting together an all-star team and then playing as if they are all-stars for this World Series. I do want to say, Yankees, what the hell y'all doing, bro? What is y'all do? Baby, what is you doing? The Yankees had this game won last night. In fact, I was texting back and forth with the number of people, and the number of people I was talking to last night was dramatically dwindling into the evening. Now, these are people who stay up and watch baseball late into the evening like I do. These are people I've been texting to the end of every single game of this entire World Series, and they all started one after the next, not responding to me. I was put on red, as the kids say. And then I was like, oh, it's probably because the Yankees are up 5-0 and the Dodgers can't get anything going. Garrett Cole had a good run last night. The Yanks pen was actually, for a team that I really thought was going to be out of the gas off the bump, really had some guys coming out and answering the bell. And then the mistakes started happening. There were runners that should have been thrown out at third, but bad throws ended up allowing guys in. There was catcher interference to load the bases and move guys around a little bit. I'm going to, as I congratulate the LA Dodgers on their World Series championship, because, hey, man, I know how it feels to be a World Series. I mean, I don't know how it feels to be a World Series champion. I've never done that. But I know how it feels for your team to win a World Series. Mine did it not terribly long ago. It's a lot of fun. It's very enjoyable. I highly recommend it if you get the opportunity. I don't know what it's like to have my team be in. Well, I do. It happened when I was a child. As an adult, I don't know what it's like to have my team be in a World Series. And granted, even if they won that game, they still would have had to go back to Los Angeles and win 2 of 2. but they would have had every bit of the momentum, right? The Dodgers won 3 in a row. Why couldn't the Yankees? And if the Dodgers won 3 in a row and the Yankees could win 3 in a row, now we just got to play a one-game series. You don't look at it anymore and go, okay, now we got to win a 4th in a row. No. You go, series is tied. It's a one-game series. Winner take all. Let's go play this damn game, right? But instead of waking up today and talking about how jazzed I was about a Game 6 coming up on Friday and a Game 7 coming up on Saturday, instead, what we have to talk about is the fact that the Yankees shot themselves in the foot, as the expression goes. The Yankees, and if you've listened to the show, you know my favorite expression is not shot themselves in the foot. And I've never felt this expression more than I did last night for the Yankees. Slammed their own genitalia in the door last night. That's what it felt like happened. It felt like that series was right. At least, I'm not going to say the series was there for the tanking, but they went with their ace, Jack Flaherty. You chased that guy who was good in Game 1, real good in Game 1. You took a guy who was dominant in Game 1. You chased him after 1.1 innings. You chased him after 1.1 innings that you knocked 4 runs off of him. If you get an ace out of the game with 4 runs after 1.1 innings, you got to go win that baseball game. And the Yankees were very much in a position to do it. Very much in a position to do it. Because they chased the ace after 1.1 and 4 runs. You got to go win that game. And the Yanks were very much in a position to go win that game. And instead, even having 5 runs in the 5th, going into the 5th, they should have ended the 5th inning like at the worst 5-1, maybe 5-2. Like at the worst, it should have been 5-1, 5-2. Instead, it was 5-5 because the Yankees couldn't stop tripping over their own junk over and over and over and over and over. It was, I don't know how else to put it. I was embarrassed for the Yankees last night. If you get into the biggest spot of the year, and that is what you come up with, the biggest spot of the year, and that's the best you can do. That's a bummer, dude. Which is too bad because you were the best team in the American League start to finish. There was a couple of weeks here and there where like Baltimore had a better record, couple of weeks here and there that Cleveland had a better record, and that's fine. But start to finish, wire to wire, which you should listen to every weekday from 37 here on the Fan Upstate. Start to finish, wire to wire. Nobody was better than the New York Yankees. Start to finish, wire to wire, they were the best team in the American League. And in the spot that you were in last night, where you got the Dodgers on the ropes, you ran their ace after 1.1. You put 5 spot up on them, including 4 against the ace. You're hitting the ball well. You're seeing the ball well. All this is going down. And then you get to the 5th inning, and you let the Dodgers be the Dodgers. For the record, the Dodgers weren't really doing anything special last night, man. Like what they were doing last night, respectfully, wasn't special. They didn't have guys that were blasting the ball into orbit like Freddie Freeman. I kept waiting for the Freddie Freeman dinger. He didn't get it last night. You finally woke up Aaron Judge. Like everything was right there. And they just blew it. They just blew it. I mean, that's all there is to it. The Dodgers won the series for sure by being a better baseball team. The Dodgers won the series by being a better baseball team, but the Yankees lost Game 5 by being by making mistakes. Mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. You got exactly what you needed out of Garrett Cole up until the 5th inning. He had 5 recorded against him in the 5th. He should have had 2. But the Yankees were committing errors, throwing errors, fielding errors. I've got catcher interference. And how do you have catcher interference in the World Series? right? Like you've got to know better. You've got to be better. I've got Garrett Cole on a Mookie Betts dribbler to first base. Garrett Cole forgets how to play baseball, right? This is basic stuff. This is basic stuff. If the ball dribbles over to first base and you're a pitcher, go cover the bag. Even if you start sprinting over there and the first baseman waves you off, says, don't worry about it. I got wheels. I got this. Go cover first base. Garrett Cole watches a shot over to over to the first baseman. Watches a dribbler over to first, and you know what he does? I was watching it live. I genuinely looked. I was texting my little brother at this point, and I said, they just lost the game. Watch. He goes, what do you mean? I said, they just watched the game. Watch. And they show Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole throws the ball, watches the ball go rolling over to first base. He turns, and he points and looks to celebrate the out. Guy, you only get the out if you have to go over there. You're the guy who gets the out. My nephew's 7, and he knows that if you're the pitcher and the ball goes to first, you go cover the bag. Even if the first base doesn't need you, he can wave you off. You get over there just in case something happens. You're there to get the force out. And I got Garrett Cole pointing over to the first baseman in celebration. Yeah, attaboy. Good catch. He looks at him. He's like, I can't beat Mookie Betts. Like, you're fine if that's, Daniel Vogelback. If that's Giancarlo Stanton, sure, he's got all the time he needs to make it to the bag, cook a lunch, eat it, take a nap before Stanton gets there. That's Mookie Betts. That's one of the fastest guys in baseball. You got to go cover that bag, dog. And if Garrett Cole gets over and covers that bag, the Dodgers probably end the 5th inning no better off than 5-2. Instead, it's 5-5. We got a brand new ball game for 6, 7, 8, and 9. And as I said last night, the Dodgers were always going to be in a better position in the 7th, 8th, and 9th off the bump. That's why they punted in Game 4, to set themselves up to be good towards the end, down the stretch in Game 5, and they were, except instead of going to the pen, Tryon did great, by the way. That man went out through, what did he throw, 36 pitches, 3 off the pace for most he's ever thrown in his career, which was 39. And then they say, you know what, Walker Buehler, you were going to be our Game 5 starter. Or our Game 6 starter. They rolled the dice on this one. They rolled the dice because if the Dodgers don't win that game, now you've burned your Game 6 starter, which means you got to move everybody up, which means there's a threat that Game 7's a bullpen game. But Dave Roberts says, no, hang on. Let's win this son of a biscuit tonight. Let's go win this thing tonight. Let's take home the dub tonight. Let's not worry about LA. Let's beat them on their field. So he sends out Walker Buehler, who likely would have been the Game 6 starter back in LA. He goes, Walk, go get this, big dog. Go make this happen. Go have your World Series moment, my man. And what did Walker Buehler do? He went out there and had his damn World Series moment. Finished up the 9th inning, finished it up strong, got the Yankees 1-2-3 down at the end. Ball game. Yankees down. Dodgers World Series champions. Phenomenal stuff, man. Baseball is the best. Baseball is the best, and now we all wait until February 20th when pitchers and catchers report. Hey, great one. How's it going, man? Happy day after the World Series. You don't have to hear about baseball until February.
I'm celebrating internally because I don't want to ruin your moment. I mean, your sport is done now, except for the awards that will happen in the next couple of weeks.
America's pastime is done for now.
No, not anymore. I mean, football is America's pastime now. Has been for quite some time. I don't know when baseball lost it, but it definitely lost it at some point.
Pastime or past time? Because I can make the argument for either sport either way.
It's pastime.
Right. Pass time or past time?
No, passing time is what you do if you watch baseball. Pastime is what baseball used to be.
I mean, technically, it still is. It is. I believe the oldest organized professional sport in America.
The label is still there. The sentiment, I don't believe, is.
I don't know if that's true. We had 15 million people watching the game last night. I mean, I'm assuming the number's going to be 15 million. I'm going to guess it is. And granted, helped out by the fact that
I think those numbers were out so quick, but maybe
they're not. The game 1, 2, and 3 numbers were out, and all 3 of them were right at or above 14.5 million, which is I think the third most watched World Series of this millennia so far. So 24 World Series. This was the third most watch. I'm not arguing that baseball turns NFL numbers. I'm not, but as I've been saying for years, the reports of the demise of Major League Baseball have been greatly exaggerated. The game is great right now.
Not saying any of that. I'm just saying it's not America's pastime. That's all I'm saying.
No, it is. It is. All right. We've got a lot to get to on the radio program today. We're going to talk quite a bit of World Series today. Busy day. Here's what we got. Lulu Kesson, 8 o'clock. Going to talk South Carolina Gamecocks with us as they get set and prepared to host the cult of Texas A&M coming up this weekend, Saturday night. Unfortunately, Rashad Beard unable to join us today. He is back in the office, so he will move to tomorrow. We'll have Rashad at 8:40 tomorrow. However, at 7 o'clock this morning, we're going to have Doug Irwin, the CBO, Chris Lewis, the president of the Greenville Triumph, because if you did not hear this, and I am quite excited to share it with you, yesterday announced that a Bridgeway station out in Malden, South Carolina, shout out to Malden SC. The Greenville Triumph in 2025, along with the city of Malden, the Bridgeway Center will begin construction on a new 10,000-seat professional soccer stadium that will be the home of the Greenville Triumph, the home of the Greenville Liberty, and the home of various other sporting events and activities around the year. The Triumph and the Liberty get a home stadium out in Malden at Bridgeway. We're going to talk about that with Doug and Joe coming up, with Doug and Chris coming up at 7 a.m. Lulu Keston at 8. Mario at 9. Hayden S. Mario at 9. Fight Club at 9:20. That's all coming up today on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Stick around. All right.
I have to go help Tommy.
Yeah. Go help. Be a good helper.
That's all I do.
All right, guys, I got to step away for 45 seconds because I got to write the news. Be right back. Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob and the great one, Lonzo, with you, or as we are known today, Robbie One Kenobi and Darth Lonzo. Happy Halloween, my dudes. I need you to know, great one. I got up this AM. I went with, because, well, I wanted to, no other reason. I went with a full, for those of you who haven't checked out the stream yet, and you can, facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitch. We do a live stream that airs all 4 hours, all 5 days of the week. You hear like 99% of the same stuff that comes out on the radio. So I got up this morning and went to, that looks so badass on camera, dude. So badass. I got up this morning. I decided to spend an exorbitant amount of money on a full Jed-I night get up, right? Everything from the boots to the belt. I got the calf high boots and everything. All right. Went all out. So I got up this morning at my regular getting ready time to put everything on. And first off, it took a hell of a lot longer than I thought it was going to. So Rob Brown was a little behind this AM, and that's okay. It was hashtag worth it. So I get ready. I leave the house, and I am very much pro Halloween costume guy. All right. I have fun. Who cares? Right. I get up, I'm driving into the office, and I decide, you know what? I'm going to stop. And even though I'm going to be a little bit later than I already am, I'm going to stop and grab a Monster on the way in. I stayed up late watching World Series baseball. I'm going to need a Monster. So I stopped and I got one. And when I got out of the car, the gas station that I pop into in the mornings when I do decide to stop is at a pretty major intersection and is usually pretty busy. It was exceptionally busy this morning. I get out of the car, and again, adorned from hood of the robe down to calf high boots as just a whole damn Jed-I this morning. I get out of the car, I walk over open the door, and there's gotta be, I don't know, 16, 17 people in the gas station.
That's a lot for this time of morning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than usual. There's usually 8, 9, 10 people up in there.
Must
when
be a
I pass
busy
by.
hub where you're stopping.
Well, it's at a major intersection, A, and B, there's like 2 or 3 like contractors and construction companies that are right there around there. So a lot of them are like day laborers, guys that are going out to do hard work while I come in here and talk about sports. But it also means very clearly, especially at this point, again, I was running late, like 5:15 in the morning. Obviously, no one else in any sort of costume. And I look as I open the door, and the place just quiet. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because I'm wearing a floor-length robe and thigh-high boots. That makes sense.
I think the move to make there is to do the Jed-I mind trick. Just do your hands. And if they get it, you're good. And if they don't, they just think you're crazier than they already think.
What I did was I opened the door. I looked up. There were, of the people in there, like 6 or 7 stopped and looked and gave me the old scan top to bottom. So I just reached back, grabbed the hood, and pulled it up and over the face. Right? Walked around the gas station looking for my Monster. Just straight up like Obi-Wan wandering the desert of Tatooine, right? Not half the face down, couldn't see anything. I can't see a damn thing out from that. Didn't care, figured it out, all right? Felt my way through the gas station I go into every morning by using the Force Luke. And when I got up to the gas station, to the cash register, right? I got my Monster, and I walk up to the register. And again, there's still people in there, but nobody's talking. This young cat working the register, all right? I set my drink down, and he like leans around and he looks at me, and then he doesn't say anything, and he takes the monster, and he scans it, and he sets it back down, and he looks at me, and he goes, "Where's the lightsaber, dog? Where's the lightsaber, dog?" And I was like, I don't have one. I don't have one. I haven't told this story, but long story short, I was going to order one. Like, Lonzo brought one in today. He brought in a Vader saber, and it's freaking fantastic, okay? So he goes, "Where's your lightsaber, dog?" And I was like, I don't have one, dude. I was going to get one, and because I felt the need to explain the full story to him like I do right now, I told him, I said, just got married. The wife told me when I turned 40 in February that we could go down to Star Wars Land in Disney to celebrate, right? We're going to fly down to Orlando, hang out for a couple of days. And when we get down there, I'm going to go build a lightsaber, customized lightsaber. And he looks and he goes, "Why didn't you get one for Halloween too?" I was like, all right, that's a valid point. That's a valid point. So this kid, he's probably like 23 years old, 24 years old, straight up calls me out for having the full Jedi costume, but not a lightsaber. But as I'm walking out the door, he says, "May the force be with you." And I was like, the kids are all right, man. The kids are all right, man.
That's good. This costume was not what I planned on wearing. So, I mean, but when you told me what you were wearing, I'm like, okay, I know that my son has part of this. So I borrowed part of it from him. So the lightsaber is his. And yes, he spent a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want to take it. I'm like, I really did. He's like, if you're going to wear the thing, you got to take the.
Hell yeah.
I'm afraid I'll break it because I know how much he paid for it. And
I think those things are meant to be dual.
No,
with, right?
It is a training sword. Yeah, that's what he told.
Yeah.
It's like, Dad, come on.
Yeah.
If someone else had one, you guys could fight.
I've got a buddy up in Charlotte that I actually was trying to connect to borrow one. I've got him up in Charlotte, huge Star Wars guy, right? Like one of these cats that he's like me, he doesn't have kids, not gonna have them, but like if he did, he's the dude that would 100% name his son Luke, all right, or his daughter Leia. He's just that guy. He has on in his, and he's got a keeper of a wife in their living room over their mantle. Though he doesn't have a lightsaber display. All right. He has a custom built frame that is built to the exact side of his mantle. And inside of it, he has a replica of the hilt of every lightsaber. He has Darth's hilt, Obi-Wan's hilt, Luke's hilt, first and second, Ahsoka's hilts, Darth Maul's hilt, the dual-sided, the dual saber. He's got every major character that had their Mace Windu, every major character that had their own lightsaber in the entirety of Star Wars, up to and including the dark saber for Mandalorian. He has a replica of every one of them, all displayed in the living room of his house. And he has the blades that you can plug in to activate them and use them. It's nasty.
It sounds really cool. It does. By the way, I'm so committed to what I'm doing, and no one will really notice this unless you look really close. I spent over an hour just layering latex on my face last night to the degree that I had to sleep with latex on my face, and parts of it are peeling off, which is what I wanted it to do because the effects of the dark side will do that to you.
Of course.
Hopefully my face will completely peel off in hour number 4. So you have that to look forward to.
I think I'm just going to go walk circles in the hallway. I will say this. There is only one issue because, yes, I do look cool. Thank you. There's only one issue, great one, which is going to the bathroom in this thing. It's going to be a mother.
Oh, that's fun for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a mother.
I'm just trying to keep the robes from getting caught under the wheels of the chair, which has already happened 3 or 4 times now. And I'm wearing gloves, and I wanted to see if I can actually run the show with gloves on. So far,
so good. It is the Rob Brown Show here on the Fan Upstate. We got a lot to get to. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because I just want to bring this up in that I think it's going to be a fun follow. Juan Soto from the New York Yankees is expected to be arguably the biggest name to hit free agency in Major League Baseball. Last night, his team, the New York Yankees, lost the World Series. The Dodgers had a 5-run comeback, the longest comeback to clinch a World Series in postseason history. Pretty spectacular run, okay? Juan Soto was expected to be a free agent. My dude wasted no time in building the hype wagon. This dude did not go in the locker room and be like, yeah, I'm sad. I'm not talking about free agency tonight. I'll worry about it later. This dude went in the locker room, grabbed a mic and said, hey, I'm excited about free agency. This is going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting. I think every player in the league wants to be able to do this once in their career, and I am willing to listen to offers from everyone today. I'm willing to listen to offers from everybody. I love that my dude didn't say, I want to mourn the loss. I'm going to go be sad for a couple of days. I'm going to go chill and let this feeling pass, get to tomorrow and worry about it then. Nope. Dude's like, yeah, we just lost the World Series. That sucks. I'd like to be rich now, please and thank you. Somebody pay me. I'm a free agent, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Spectacular, dude. That's so much fun. But it does lead me to another conversation. Are rivalries dead now? Because I heard an argument from a football player yesterday that said rivalries are dead. And I want to get to that coming up in a few minutes on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. So it's not unfair to say that of all of the futuristic space movies that we could be in, that's the one that would be most appropriate for us.
Listen, I know my head's big, but it's not Darth Helmet big.
Darth Helmet. What a character. What a character.
You gotta look at your feet. That's the only thing you can do.
Oh. All right, guys, give me 30 seconds. Be right back. Happy Halloween, dudes and dudettes. Happy spooky season, my friends. I agree, man. I don't like Lonzo knows this, unfortunately, more than anybody else. I do not like being jump scared. I'm a psychological scare guy. All right. I'm a murder mystery scare guy more than I am a, Freddy Jason jumping out from behind the file cabinet scare guy. I love Halloween, dude. I love Halloween. It's my favorite. It's the best. It's just exploring the morbid and the macabre. I'm intrigued. I'm interested in it.
It's been a difficult life for me since Rob got here because I jump scare people naturally. And so going out of my way to try to not do it, it's a struggle every day.
It's appreciated. Chris doesn't do it intentionally, but nobody does it more than Chris. That man is just, I feel like he lives to stand around corners. You open a bathroom door, there's Chris. I turn the corner from our hallway out into the main hallway, there's Chris. I don't know how he does it. He's got a knack for just being in the right place in the right time to make me nearly crap my pants. It's unbelievable.
He's like a cat. He is.
I'm going to call him that the rest of the day. So here's a question. As we found out yesterday that Bryce Young will be getting the nod for the Carolina Panthers coming up this Sunday when they host our New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr, by the way, back in the mix. He'll be playing this Sunday, his return from the oblique injury that he suffered 4 weeks ago. Bryce Young will be getting the nod. And there was an interesting discussion going around the league right now. These are the list of quarterbacks. This is a list of quarterbacks under 26 years old active in the National Football League right now. Anthony Richardson, 22 years old, benched. Bryce Young, 23 years old, benched. Trey Lance, 24 years old, traded and then benched. Justin Fields, 25 years old, traded and then benched. Will Levis, 25 years old, benched. Zach Wilson, 25 years old, benched. Mac Jones, 26 years old, traded and then benched. Kenny Pickett, 26 years old, traded and then benched.
I think there should be an asterisk by Justin Fields because out of all those guys, he was actually winning when he got benched. All those other guys, they were not.
So you and I just aren't going to see eye to eye on this. Justin Fields was playing good enough football. Justin Fields wasn't winning games for the Bears.
Dude, they were
for the
they're 4-2. So yeah, he was winning games.
No. They were winning games.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers' run game behind Najee Harris was winning games.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers' defense was winning games. This is very much the Tebow phenomenon. When Tebow fans were up in here going, oh, he's winning games. No. He's playing good enough to not lose games.
Hey, Rob, you had to choose between Tebow and Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, and it's not close.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
But that's not asking much.
But you're going to compare them, and you should not because Justin Fields is a much better thrower of the ball than Tim Tebow.
Oh, you mean I'm going to compare him? I know I'm not. You just asked me that. I'm not comparing him.
Because you did. You said he's like Tim Tebow.
I said his fans are acting like the Tebow fans in that you're wanting to credit Steelers wins to Justin Fields. And I'm telling you, Justin Fields wasn't winning the games. He was playing well enough not to lose the games. There's a difference.
That's such a weird argument. It really is. I just don't get it.
Right, because
I don't know. So you just don't like the guy because I do?
No,
I mean,
I like Justin Fields a lot. What I'm not going to do, and I don't do this with any athlete, I do this with Saints fans about Derek Carr all the damn time. I know I've been making the jokes for a couple of years now about future first ballot Hall of Famer Derek Carr. Just so we're all clear, I don't think that that's true. It's a joke. Ha-ha, lulls, funny. All right? What I'm saying here is...
Wait. You're a knower of ball. That's what you said all this time. So when you say something, we non-knowers of ball take it as gospel. So you were joshing us all this time. I
sure was. Because the only thing I know better than ball is how to be a smartass. I'm very good at it. I hide it sometimes, but I'm very good at it. Regardless of whether you think it was Justin Fields winning games for Pittsburgh or not. And again, wins and losses are not a quarterback stat. They're not a quarterback stat. They should not be considered a quarterback stat. Regardless how you feel about it, the reality is since Russell Wilson made his way back into the mix 2 games ago, the Steelers' offense is better now. It's better. They put up 225 yards in the first half. Granted, only 9 points. But at the end of the day, Russell can't finish drives by himself.
Strength of opponent.
Absolutely valid argument. Absolutely valid argument. Let's not pretend the Steelers didn't play, only played all Pro Bowl defenses the first, 5 weeks of the season?
And
they did.
Then they played the Jets and the Giants.
There was no games anywhere that Justin Fields was even in the ballpark of what Russell Wilson did with his arm. But this isn't a Justin Fields, Russell Wilson segment. It's a segment of Richardson, Young, Lance Fields, Levis, Wilson, Jones, Pickett. These are 8 of the most highly, and by the way, we can add other guys in there. I can add Trevor Lawrence to this conversation. Does anybody believe that Trevor Lawrence has reached the top of the pinnacle, the zenith of his abilities?
I think he's right about where I thought it would be.
That is true. You were not super high on him coming into this. But if I look up and down the list of starting quarterbacks right now, and we take into consideration guys that are a few years out, let's say 5. Let's say guys that have been drafted within the last 5 or 6 years. Who would we say has been truly successful? CJ Stroud won the division in his first year. That's successful. Are we ready to say that Bo Nix is successful right now?
What's the record?
The Broncos are a game over 500 or right at it. Let's see. The Broncos right now, I don't have it memorized off the top of my head. I should. The Broncos are 5-3, 2 games over 500. Let's see. Trevor Lawrence, will we say he scratched the top? I would say no.
He did make it to the playoffs.
He did.
And won a playoff game.
He did.
Well, no, he didn't. The team he was on did because wins or losses are not determined by the quarterback.
Correct. I'm glad you've come around on that. Welcome to the right side of the force. Caleb Williams in Chicago, getting better week by week. I'm not going to say he's successful yet, but he's getting better week by week. He's just on a team that's coached like booty cheeks.
I finally get what this is all about, but go ahead.
No, you don't. Hang with me. Jake Haener down in New Orleans, only starting because Derek Carr's there, and actually, no, he's not anymore because Derek Carr's coming back this weekend. And Jaden Daniels. I'd say Jaden Daniels, of all the rookies that came out last year, is the one that we could say that guy's successful already.
And who told us that was going to happen?
Me, because I know ball.
Like I said, I knew where this was headed.
No, that's not. It's not a bad. I promise you, this isn't a Jaden Daniels and how right I was about him segment. It is a segment where I am going to say I absolutely believe that the NFL has a quarterback development problem. I think the NFL has a quarterback development program.
Can't you blame this on college, though? Because the colleges are not preparing them enough for the NFL. It's not their job to do that. I'm well aware of that. Their job is to win games. And obviously, these guys who are playing won games in college or they wouldn't be where they are in the NFL. I think the blame can go back to college also.
I don't, because of what you led that off with. It ain't their job. Now, I will say this. If you are a college program, dumb as hell if you're not doing that, right? Because if you got a 5-star quarterback coming up out of high school looking for somewhere to go play ball, and you can say, we've sent 7, 8, 9, 12, 11, 35 NFL quarterbacks to the league, and they're all successful because we develop them as NFL quarterbacks at the college level, obviously that's going to help you with recruiting. But at the end of the day, it ain't your job to do that. Dating back to 2020, here's every quarterback that was drafted, let's say, Zoe, what's fair, inside the top 4 rounds, 5 rounds. Successful, yes or no? I'm going to say Caleb Williams, don't know yet. Jaden Daniels, yes. Drake May, don't know yet. Michael Penix Jr., don't know yet. J.J. McCarthy, don't know yet. Bo Nix, borderline. Spencer Rattler drafted in the fifth round. He plays for Dennis Allen. I'm not going to hold it against him. 2023, Bryce Young, absolutely not. C.J. Stroud, absolutely. Anthony Richardson, no. Will Levis, no. Hendon Hooker, not yet. Haven't gotten a chance yet. 2022, Kenny Pickett, no. Desmond Ridder, no. Malik Willis, no. Matt Corral, no. Bailey Zappi, no. These are all fifth round or better. 2021, Trevor Lawrence, no. Zach Wilson, no. Trey Lance, no. Justin Fields, no. Mac Jones, no. 2020, Joe Burrow, yes. Tua Tagovailoa, yes. Justin Herbert, I'd say borderline, but he was also, much like Caleb Williams, on a booty cheeks coach team with the Chargers. Not going to hold it against them. Jordan Love, yes. Jalen Hurts, sure.
All right, some of these that you threw in there, I disagree with. Jordan Love, sample size not big enough. And has he been successful? We don't know. He hasn't been on the field that much. Keeps getting hurt.
I mean, made it to the playoffs and beat the Cowboys on the road last year.
No, his team did. Tua. I mean,
bravo. Well done.
Again,
that felt good, didn't it?
I am playing the dark side today, so I'm basically you every day. Tua, I can't put him in there either.
I'm fine with that. I'm fair with that. Let's say 2-0. He is the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. We do know that. Thanks, Reek. So, however you want to look at it.
Why didn't you put Patrick Mahomes in there?
Guys drafted since 2020.
Oh, okay.
I was just going last four seasons, last four drafts.
All right. And to be honest, every year, the last few years, especially the last 2 years, and maybe going into the next year, you're looking at the next crop of quarterbacks and going,
I'll tell you what, that's interesting. Let's go back. 2019, Kyler Murray, no, not yet. Does look better this year. Even you have to admit, Kyler Murray looks better this year.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray looks better this year. Daniel Jones, no. Dwayne Haskins, I don't even know where that guy is anymore. Drew Lock, Will Greer, no success in 2019. 2018, Baker Mayfield, yes, but only recently. Sam Darnold, yes, but only recently. Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, no, yes and no. Lamar Jackson, yes. Mason Rudolph as a career backup, sure. 2017, Mitchell Trubisky, no. Patrick Mahomes, yes. Deshaun Watson, initially, but is cratered. Deshaun Kaiser, Davis Webb, no. Here's my point here. There is, I think, a quarterback development problem.
By the way, Rob forgot that Dwayne Haskins passed away.
Damn, you're right. Yeah. Good save. Thank you very much. I forgot. He got hit by a car. Yeah, you're right. Terrible story. I need you to hang on to this commercial for just a second with me here. Great one, because all right, I'm going to catch you next time it comes on. One of our coworkers just starred in that commercial. A very bearded, schmedium shirt-wearing coworker of ours.
Really?
Yeah.
Good for him.
And his way outkicked his coverage better half. Just starred in that car commercial.
Oh, like you haven't done that sort of thing before.
No, I absolutely have. Literally for that same company. I was already in a TV commercial. But, it doesn't make me not excited to see my buddy Diesel on TV.
So you were just pointing out that you did it first.
No, I was pointing out that I saw my friend on TV. Here it is. Wait. Here it is. Is this the same commercial? I think it is. Did we miss him?
No, I didn't see him.
Hang on. Sorry. Yes, I am. There's one of our friends. There he is. Over there. He's on TV for 0.7 seconds.
I used to say it wasn't even a full second.
They featured his wife, and the guy selling them the car was standing in front of Diesel. His head pops out for 0.7 seconds, and then they cut him out of the commercial. Oh, man. What was that?
Would you call that a cameo?
I would say absolutely. At best, that's a cameo. Okay. Right. Honestly, if that was a movie, he didn't hit his SAG quota to get a credit, is what that was. All right. Here's the point. I want to come back to this coming up a little later in the show. We do have Doug Irwin and Chris Lewis joining us in the next segment to talk a little bit about the Triumph Stadium, which is very exciting stuff, to be honest. Very exciting stuff. We'll talk to them next. I think there's a development problem in the NFL, because here's the thing. When I go down the list of guys drafted inside of the top 5, how many of them would you say were given any time to grow? Caleb Williams, thrown in immediately. Jaden Daniels, immediately. Drake May was not. But Drake May, I don't want to give the Patriots too much credit here. They didn't sit Drake May so he could develop behind Jacoby Brissett. They sat Drake May so he wouldn't die behind that offensive line. He played 2 weeks. What happened to Drake May? He died behind the offensive line.
He's not. He's just.
He's not actually dead.
Yeah, he's not.
He got his belt wrong. He's out, probably. Michael Penix Jr., and here's the thing. If Michael Penix Jr. plays behind Kirk Cousins for a year, maybe 2, and then he comes out and he's a good quarterback, will we finally acknowledge that throwing rookies to the Wolves maybe ain't the best idea, even if your team stinks? Maybe throwing rookies to the Wolves is actually a real good way to not succeed? J.J. McCarthy out for the season, same story.
Yeah, there are exceptions, but they're very, very few.
Exactly.
Like 1 or 2.
Yeah. I mean, at the most of every draft, at the most, if you're looking at quarterbacks, take it in the first 5 rounds. There's only at the most 2 from any given year that we would say that's a successful quarterback. And there's only like 1 year where there were 2, right? There were some years like 2022, Pickett Ritter, Willis, Corral, Zappy Howell, Oladukin Thompson, and Brock Purdy. And he was drafted in the 7th round. Like, let's not pretend that was
Mr.
anything.
Irrelevant.
He was.
Yeah.
So I really think any given year you look at, and this is why I'm only going 1 through 5, because like 5 is where you take a project quarterback, Spencer Rattler. Everybody else, you ain't there. I think the NFL's got a quarterback development problem. And I think just law of averages says out of all these quarterbacks we mentioned, from 2020 to today, there's been something like 80 quarterbacks drafted. There's been like 5 we would say is successful. That's not good. I think the NFL has a quarterback development problem, and I want to talk a little bit about that later in the show. But again, coming up in the next segment, we're going to be joined by the Chief Branding Officer of the Greenville Triumph and Liberty, Doug Irwin, and the President of the Greenville Liberty and Triumph, Chris Lewis, to talk about the enormous announcement they made yesterday. Those 2 teams getting a stadium coming up here in just a couple of years. We'll talk to them next. That's after Darth Alonso reads this Sports Flash.
The Los Angeles Dodgers are your 2024 World Series champions after taking Game 5 from the New York Yankees 7-6 and claiming the series 4-1. New York led by 5 going into the 5th inning, but committed multiple mistakes that allowed the Dodgers to tie the game. New York took the lead back in the 6th, but a pair of Dodgers runs in the 8th sealed the win. The comeback was the largest single-game comeback in modern World Series history. Former Brave Freddie Freeman was awarded Series MVP after tying the series record for most RBIs with 12. The Charlotte Hornets improved to 2-2 with a 138-133 win over the Toronto Raptors last night. The Buzz scored at least 30 points in all 4 quarters. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels take on the Bowling Springs Bulldogs right here on your home for Burns Rebels football, The Fan, Upstate.
Gentlemen,
What's up?
how we doing, fellas?
Not half bad.
I'm glad to hear it. Chris, did we get you up out of bed too early, buddy?
It is a little early for this, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm also not gonna lie. Lonzo's freaking me out a little bit with the combo
I'm sitting
Emperor
next to him.
/ Undertaker look.
That's Darth Lonzo. All right, fellas, let's talk some footy for a little while. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan.
Good morning.
Yes, it is a good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Halloween morning. Happy spooky season to all of you. It is also a good morning, my dear friends. If you happen to be a fan of the Greenville Triumph, of the Greenville Liberty, because a massive announcement dropping yesterday at a press conference held at Bridgeway Station in lovely Malden, South Carolina. Why did they have a press conference in Malden, South Carolina, ladies and gentlemen? Because it was announced yesterday that a brand new 10,000-seat professional soccer and all the other sports facility will be built that will serve as the home of the Greenville Triumph and the Greenville Liberty. And to discuss that, we have two gentlemen that I am very fortunate to call friends both on and off the air. The president of the Greenville Triumph and Liberty, the CBO, of the Greenville Triumph and Liberty, Chris Lewis, Doug Irwin joining us here on the show. Fellas, first off, good morning. Second off, congratulations, boys. Well done. I know this has been a fight for a minute, and it looks like it's in the bag. Bravo.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's get into this. And Doug, I'll start with you, bud. But man, kind of give me the nuts and bolts on how we got here. I know there's been city council meetings and county board meetings and investors meetings and every kind of I'm sure you're meetinged out at this point. So I'm sure that press conference yesterday was a relief in at least the aspect of you don't have to wear a tie for another couple of months. But walk me through kind of the outline of how we arrived here. And how Malden ended up being the destination for the Greenville Triumph.
Sure, Rob. For us, it kind of, at least in the public eye, started in early 2022 when we did have a vote with Greenville County Council on a stadium project and a vote not to build a stadium, a vote just to talk about building a stadium. And that vote failed in the county for reasons that are beyond me a bit. And we're apparently beyond our project a bit, honestly. So we kind of went back to the drawing board from a financing standpoint and a project standpoint of what we wanted to do. But at that time, we had a lot of interest from the city of Malden, totally different body than Greenville County Council. And Malden was very interested, Bridgeway Station development, and Malden was very interested. So we kept working and sharpening our pencils, to look at financing and project scope and what we could do, what we could tweak. And we would tell fans, around the upstate when they'd ask, "Hey, we're working on it, all day, every day." And that wasn't an exaggeration. We really were. My dad, our chairman, was taking the brunt of that work, to try and look at, could we still make this possible? And through some additional supporters coming on board at the state level, from a financing perspective, but mainly from a private financing perspective, we were able to kind of pull a new look together of what a financial package would look like. All the while, costs were rising, as costs of building anything did, post COVID. So you had the challenge of trying to keep the project costs down and value engineer it as much while while costs were going up. But we were able to kind of find a happy medium, even though the cost has risen. And then bring it back to Malden, bring it back to Bridgeway Station and Hughes Investments. And we did that probably really 5-6 months ago. And then the last half year have been finalizing a stadium boundary, a stadium plan overall, and how it's going to fit into development, and then getting a signed agreement finally about 2 weeks ago, and knowing that as soon as we had a signed agreement, we could announce. I don't even want to say the intention, because it's more than the intention, the plan to get a building coming out of the ground soon.
I love it. I love it. Chris, from the perspective of a team, like, I imagine that it's not just been a challenge to make this happen, but I know with the challenges of hosting games at Legacy Early College, and then I know Furman's been a phenomenal partner for you guys in providing Paladin Stadium as a place to play, but you've got to work around the Furman athletic schedule and make sure that everything's copacetic with playing on campus, et cetera, et cetera. I know there's been a lot of challenges for the team, and I've got to assume that getting this stadium built, having a place to call home, having a pitch to practice on that's the same as you play on, which has not always been the case for you guys. From the perspective of a soccer team, this has got to be enormous news as well.
Oh yeah, it's incredible news, and it's the things you pointed out, Rob. Just from a practical standpoint, being in a situation where we are the primary tenant, we're the anchor tenant of a venue, crafting our schedule in a way that's the most, optimally conducive to trying to get good crowds, is going to be a very big difference. I was talking to someone yesterday ahead of the announcement, and they were poking around, and I said, I can't really say anything now, but I'll tell you that I'm ultimately going to be in a situation that's going to be different than I've been in before. And the reason I said that is because anywhere that I've been thus far with regard to a team, is there was always someone in line ahead of us for priority, for scheduling and things, where now, we're going to be the priority, and that's hugely helpful. From a more base perspective, it gives the players for both teams, the coaches for both teams, a place that feels like it's theirs, that they can call home. They can leave whiteboards. They can, again, simple little things. The athletic trainer can leave coolers and water bottles in a cabinet and not be nomadic every single weekend that we have a game. So from that perspective, it's a game changer for us. And then the business perspective of it is a whole different world.
I want to get to that side of it too, and I'll throw a follow-up at you real quick, Chris, and that is, as somebody who's worked in sports, all the sports, various different levels, top to bottom of the years, what does that do for a psyche of a team? What does that do for the mentality of a team to be able to, like you said, not have to worry about packing up an entire franchise's worth of stuff just to go out to train, to then pack it back on the bus and leave again? How does that impact players, coaches, trainers, managers, et cetera, to be able to have a place that, hey, when it says 8:00, that's our pitch, that's our field, that's where we're going?
It's huge. It makes you feel like you're at home. It makes you feel like you're settled. Even right now, from a training perspective, we're in the process of kind of building out a training setup, and it's taken a little bit because again there have been some hurdles with things involved in that with permitting and that kind of thing, but it's getting there. But our coaches, players, our training staff, they've been super patient with it. But again, they look forward to a point when they can just roll into the parking lot, go into a locker room or go into the players lounge and feel like they're there. So it's a situation where it just, I guess it's just a little more settling. It makes you feel like your roots are in the ground a bit more. And you can carry on your business and you don't have to necessarily worry about things that you don't want to have to worry, things that maybe you're taking for granted, like knowing you can just walk out on the practice field, knowing the coach can change the schedule if it better suits the team and the staff, and not have to jump through a bunch of hoops and hurdles to try and make sure that can happen.
Doug, from the perspective of fans, I mean, Chris is talking to us about how it impacts players, coaches, managers, administrators, et cetera, to have a spot, and that's great. But obviously, the overwhelming majority of people listening to my seductive voice this morning are the fans, are the Reedy River Riot and La Familia and Triumph fans across the upstate. What is the level of consideration when it comes to fan experience for this? Because the worst thing in the world for me is when a team has a beautiful stadium, but it's a miserable fan experience, whether it's the parking or it's the traffic or it's this, that, the other. This is when I say new facility, I'm not just talking about the stadium. Bridgeway Center is relatively new in terms of, the buildings themselves, but the infrastructure and the parking and all that. So as you guys start to put together the build out for this project and start putting shovels into the turf and all that, how are you guys making sure that the voices and concerns of the fans are built in so that it is not just a home stadium, but a home stadium that fans are going to get up on Saturdays and come out and spend the day hanging around?
Sure. I think a lot of it is working with people who have done this before, who, thinking like a fan is a very dangerous thing to say in the sports world. We all do it on sports talk radio, right? But you do have to think like a fan, and you have to put yourself in the shoes, Rob, of when I'm coming into a game and I'm parking, I'm shopping, getting concessions, all that. What do I want? What don't I want? We come from the first 6 years of the men's team, the first of the first 3 years of the Liberty, where many of those we were at a stadium where we didn't have running water in Legacy, and then you're at Furman where we have permanent restrooms now, but we don't have some of the other soccer specific comforts that we had of having the supporters really close to the field. And so we've got to go back and look. The fun part, I think, will be maybe we get to travel around to some other stadiums around the country and see who's doing it well and take some ideas from there. But Rob, I think one of our focuses is how can we make sure that you're in your seat at the start of the game. You don't have to get up until halftime. When you go get up at halftime, it's as quick as possible. You can get back in your seat and cheer. And I think for our supporters, our most dedicated fans, I know the thing they're most excited about is moving back behind one of the goals, which we can't do at Furman, but we were able to do at Legacy. Moving right back behind that visiting goalkeeper for a half and getting as close to the field as we can get them to torment that guy or girl and create that home field advantage, to make it easy to get concessions, to make you want to get up and get merchandise during the game. All those things, I think are huge considerations. And as the process goes along, I'm sure as we've done with almost anything, we'll solicit fan feedback. We'll have some focus groups, some surveys to go along with our architecture firm that's done a lot of professional college stadium renovations builds around the country, sort of at this scale. They don't go design 100,000 seat stadiums a lot, but they design they design stuff that's impactful, that's around this region, and we can relate to with the size and scope we're going. So that's an important part of the process, and I know we're looking forward to getting fans involved in that.
Doug Irwin, CBO of the Greenville Triumph and Liberty. Chris Lewis, the president of the organization. Yesterday, the Triumph and Liberty announcing a new 10,000-seat professional soccer facility coming to Malden at the Bridgeway Center. And I think one of the things that you guys announced yesterday, Chris, that I love as a sports fan, obviously big supporter of the Liberty and the Triumph, as the Liberty play-by-play guy for the last couple of years, as the loudest, most obnoxious person in the building any given Saturday night when the Triumph are playing. I think my favorite thing as a sports dude is that you guys made it clear, Joe made it clear yesterday that, yes, this is the home of the Triumph and the Liberty, but you guys want to make sure that this is a facility that all sorts of teams and events can come through and utilize. Like, I love that this is, it's home of the teams wearing the green and blue, but it's also going to be the home for the community of sports around the upstate as well, Chris Lewis.
Absolutely. And Joe said it remarkably well during his remarks yesterday, in that it's the people's stadium, and it's a place for everyone. And it truly is. I mean, from the get-go, this was always a discussion about this being a community asset, something that's not exclusive to just the Triumph and Liberty, but something that can help further drive tourism in the area. An opportunity for us to provide Visit Greenville SC with an asset to be able to sell to other markets and sell to conventions and youth sports entities and things that are looking for homes for competitions. And that's truly what we want it to be. And a lot of thought. And again, yesterday was kind of the first step and the first page in the next chapter of the book with regard to the history of the club. And a big piece of what comes next for myself and Doug and Joe and the partners that are working with us on this is talking about, what does it look like? What does the seating manifest look like? What are the hospitality areas and premium areas look like? And doing that not just with Triumph and Liberty matches in mind, but doing it with, if we host an international friendly, what does that look like? If we're hosting the ACC Soccer Championship and hopefully the College Cup there at some point, if we're hosting the SoCon Championship, high schools championships there, what does that look like? What does it look like for non-soccer events? So that it can be a place that's functional and ultimately, and probably most importantly, that provides a great experience for patrons and partners who are coming to the venue for, whether it's soccer, football, lacrosse, a car show, a beer festival, a concert, etc.
One of the things that I've said to you fellas, and we'll do one more, and if you guys have the time, I'd love to keep you around for one more, because I do have a handful more questions, both about the experience, the stadium, and what game day is going to look like. But one of the things that we've said, and Doug, you kind of addressed this a little while ago, that I have loved about this organization, the Greenville Triumph, since I got here, is I don't think I have worked in the 17 plus years I've been doing this. I don't think I've ever worked with a team that does a better job with fan interaction. In fact, I got a kick yesterday after the press conference when Joe Irwin came off the stage and walked out to the crowd. And he's one of the very few owners I've ever been around, guys, where members of the supporters group, and I'm not just talking about the administration, the president of the supporter group and all, I'm just talking the dudes and dudettes in this group, could walk up to Joe and shake his hand and say, congratulations. And he knows them by name, and he knows where they work, and he knows what they do, etc. The fascination to me with this team has always been its connection with the community, and the fact that Malden is, I don't want to say a new community to you guys, because there's Triumph supporters all around the upstate, but in terms of playing games, being there, being involved, etc., a brand new spot. So how did you guys make sure that these conversations were with Malden were going well, so that this relationship could build to a point where they said, yeah, we'll take your 10,000 seat stadium. Let's do this.
I think, Rob, it's definitely never giving up, and realizing that a no vote in the start was a setback, and during after that no vote, as we're going through, we told them, and I think it's just transparency, and relationships, and saying, hey guys, so that didn't work. We don't want to give up on this, but at the same time, we do have to consider other sites. and letting them know that the whole time, and they understood. And I think some of it's relationships, but it's also just credit to what great people there are in Malden right now that we've been working with the last couple of years, because they were understanding of, we have to look at other sites, and we did look at other sites, and we were in pretty serious discussions with some other sites too. There were plenty of points, I think, where Chris or I would tell you we were feeling quite confident we had a home somewhere else, and then for one reason or another that didn't end up panning out. And when but the whole time is checking in on the folks in Malden, seeing if there was possibility to do this again. There was still interest, and I think we were really excited when we were able to kind of revisit Malden with a fresh approach, and to say, wait, we've got another shot at this. We could get it done, because again, we knew there was so much excitement from Malden leadership, from Bridgeway Station leadership. So I think that, to come full circle like that has been great. And I think you look too, we go back to some of the reasons we wanted to be in Malden in the first place, and those reasons still stand. If not, they're even more true now, which is, you look at an economic heat map of where growth is in Greenville, you look at where our season ticket holders are by zip code, it's all right there in Malden, Simpsonville. And Bridgeway's right on the way. It's 15 minutes or less to downtown, depending on traffic on 385. So it's a great, if you can't be smack in the middle of Main Street and in Greenville, and you can't anymore because all that land has been taken up and down Main Street, then this is the place where you want to be.
Beautiful. All right, we got to run to a break. We've got Chris Lewis, president of the Triumphant Liberty, Doug Irwin, CBO. They're going to hang with us through the break. When we come back, couple more questions about the new 10,000-seat stadium announced yesterday, including the one that I know Doug's really excited to answer. How's it getting paid for? And also one I care more about, grass or turf? Let's find out when we come back. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, guys, I got to do a read. We'll come right back. Stay right there for me. All right.
Listen, Q. They can hear you. You can hear them.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, look, there's a piece of skin on the floor. I probably should pick that up.
What a sentence.
Well, Diesel and Cole will freak out. Maybe I'll just leave it there on purpose. Right, I forgot to put my headphones in.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob and Darth Lonzo with you here on a Halloween morning, celebrating all things very spooky this day. And then other things that aren't so spooky, things that are actually quite exciting, like the fact that if you missed it in the last segment, well, I'm glad you're here. A brand new 10,000-seat soccer facility coming to the upstate of South Carolina, specifically the fine folks of Malden, South Carolina, at the Bridgeway Center. Joining us to talk about that this AM, the president of the Greenville Triumph, the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, Chris Lewis, Doug Irwin here on the show, and we appreciate the time, fellas. Let's get to the question that I don't frankly know how long-winded it will or won't be, and I'll let either one of you that's more comfortable with the answer have at it. But it is obviously the question that I got asked the most yesterday to ask you about today, and that is, how's this thing getting paid for? Because I know that there have been questions about taxes and recreational taxes and hospitality taxes, and I'm a big dumb guy. That's why all my jobs involve talking about sports, so that I don't have to worry about the dollars and cents. I'll leave that to the professionals. Fellas, what's the funding for this stadium shaping up to look like?
Yeah, Rob, I'll kind of tell you where we're at so far, and preface it with none of it's finalized. It's not going to hold up construction. Construction is going to get underway very soon, but the big key with this project is it's a public-private partnership. We didn't feel it was fair to just try and hold out our hats asking for money to build a stadium. That's not very collaborative. But we do want to have public partners that are staked in this, and they're public partners that wanted to be involved with this. So we have some money from Malden that was originally set aside in 2022 coming into the project that they had appropriated, that's contributing. One of the things that was new this go around in getting things planned is the state of South Carolina, and them appropriating money in their state budget for 2025 for this project. And there's the potential to have more down the road from the state of South Carolina to contribute. And a lot of these public contributions are not, hey, this is so the Greenville Triumph can play soccer 15 times a year, and the Greenville Liberty can play 6-7 times a year. It's for all the other activities we talked about. It's for concerts, festivals. It's the ability to do extra locker rooms so we can bring in high school tournaments, college tournaments. That's the important thing to remember, is even though we're going to be the anchor tenants of this, you said in the last segment, this is about much more than Triumph and Liberty soccer. So that's where I think the interest from the public bodies came. And then the biggest chunk of funding by far is coming from the team, and it's coming in the form of cash and rent and maintenance and all the big things that make a stadium go. And it's important for us to carry the heaviest share of that burden and put our money where our mouth is on making this thing successful. And right now the project is scoped at $80 to $100 million. That's pretty wide range, obviously. And we're hoping to nail down a final design in the next few months as we already begin site work on the design, to be able to dial those costs in. And I think the important thing, Rob, to the last bit of your question, is this is not something where we or anyone plans to levy a new tax on residents. Everybody wants a stadium until they hear that they're getting taxed on a new stadium. There is the potential to tap into pre-existing tax money like hospitality tax, but not to delve too quickly into politics, just and not that I know much about it, but I do know that a hospitality tax is taxes on hotels and things from visitors to the region, not taxes that you or I tend to pay. So hospitality tax is something that's intended for things like this. You generate hospitality tax to reinvest in hospitality projects to create more hospitality tax, is what I've always been told by local government officials on both sides of the aisle. So we do hope that we're able to tap into some of that, to help pay for the project, because we think that the number of hotel rooms we're going to fill, the number of people we're going to have dining out post game during these events is going to generate a lot of revenue and a lot of hospitality tax for the upstate, and increase that sports tourism. So I know that's something that Visit Greenville is really excited about, the whole region. So that's what we're looking at right now. And if I'm short on specifics, it's because we're still pulling them all together for the financing for the project. But again, I think what listeners can take home is this is a partnership where the teams are bringing the bulk of the money into the project, and we don't plan to ask people to put new tax dollars aside to help pay for the stadium, which is very important.
I got like $60. Can I get like a urinal named after me or something?
And we can work on that. Yeah, it might be a trough for $60, but yeah.
I mean, the Rob Brown Memorial Trough is going to be an all-time career highlight for me. Chris Lewis, Doug Irwin joining us here from the Greenville Triumph on the Rob Brown Show. Here's a question I've had asked 3 times on the text line so far, and I love that people care about this because it shows you, boys, that we got an audience that knows ball. Turf, grass, what's our playing surface going to look like, or have we made it to that stage yet?
There's been a good bit of discussion about that. The way that I've answered this kind of over the last couple years is it depends who was in Joe's ear last. If
Tyler
Polak. If it was a turf or grass system vendor, it's whatever they were selling, because it sounds like it was the best thing that's ever been created. If it was a player, a coach, someone on the technical side who's living it every day, it absolutely should be grass. We've certainly done research and have been investigating both avenues. I think nowadays too, there's a lot more viability for doing some kind of grass or grass hybrid where it's not going to be dead after you pick up all the plastic, the covering, protective covering, if you do again, a concert, a car show, whatever it may be. But definitely have not made a definitive decision on it yet. But that said too, on the artificial side, the turf nowadays plays almost exactly like grass in some cases. So I don't know that we can necessarily go wrong, or that somebody's going to feel super aggrieved one way or the other in terms of playing on it.
I mean, you can ask David Tepper. Somebody's going to be real mad at it no matter what you do. So I'm intrigued to see the decision-making process when we get to that point. Do we have, fellas, I kind of yesterday was waiting, are we going to get a rendering or not, before I got the opportunity to really sit down and talk to you about where we are in the process. But where are we in the process in terms of design, planning, and when do we expect, I guess really the most important part of this question is, when do we expect a shovel to hit the dirt, and when do we expect to be able to march for the first time?
Well, Rob, one of the fun things that I told a couple people yesterday is yesterday seemed like the kickoff, but there's been stuff going on at the site already the last month or two, and they aren't they aren't sexy building things yet. It's getting soil samples and drilling in the ground and checking for where we're going to sink our biggest supports, and how's that process going to go. What does the ground look like? Are we going to have to do any blasting? Probably not. So that work's been going on for 2 months or so, and that was a calculated risk we took, knowing we didn't have a signed agreement, but to keep on the timeline we're all hoping for, we needed to go ahead and get going. So we're hoping for groundbreaking in Q1 of 2025. So, January, February, March, and groundbreaking, yes, but grading and everything could be happening over the winter, weather provided, is what we're hoping. So, from a rendering standpoint, we've looked at designs again. going back to the theme of doing stuff before we had a signed agreement, because we felt like we were headed towards a signed agreement, and all the parties felt like that even while we were working through the necessary legal steps. We've been doing renderings behind the scenes. We've been doing design work behind the scenes. We've carried over some of the things from the 2022 project in terms of the foundation of the stadium, the locker rooms, and the layout on that land at Bridgeway to be able to get all the back of house functional stuff people don't see. And then we've updated our designs a lot too. So we're getting closer on renderings. I don't want to hold us to a date, but I'm hoping that by the end of the year or soon after into 2025, first couple of weeks, that we've got some renderings to put out. Certainly by groundbreaking, but we're feeling great about the direction we're headed. The amenities we've got baked into the stadium design, and hoping to have renderings out for everybody, like I said, across the next 2 months or so.
Beautiful, beautiful. And make sure the Rob Brown Memorial Trough is in those renderings. We've got Doug Irwin and Chris Lewis here from the Greenville Triumph. Boys, I will leave the last minute or two open-ended for anything that you guys want to say, any message you want to send out to Upstate Triumph fans, maybe folks that have kind of been on the borderline. Do I go? Do I not? About just basically this whole situation. Give you about 30, 45 seconds each to send out a final message to the people listening.
Well, I'd reiterate what Joe conveyed yesterday, which is we don't get to this point without the support of our fans, without the support of our partners, our community partners, some of the civic entities in town that, quite honestly, from the get-go helped bring this club to Greenville when the USL started inquiring about this new league that they were developing and looking for new markets for it. To your point, Rob, there's always going to be something that somebody's not happy with. There are folks that are not necessarily, they're not unhappy, but they're I really wish it was on Main Street kind of thing. But that said, we're committed to making it the best venue we can for our fans, our partners, for the community, for the Upstate as a whole. One of my responses in a text chain last night was the league wouldn't let us be Upstate Triumph. And as Joe says, according to the league, you need to be from somewhere. But we're really the Upstate's pro soccer team. We're the Upstate's pre-professional women's soccer team. And we want this to be the home for everybody in the Upstate. We are going to do everything we can to make it the coolest, most fun, fulfilling experience for whether it's Triumph Liberty matches or it's high school, college, international, car shows, whatever it may be. Really making it another crown jewel that makes this area one of those places that consistently makes best of lists. So thank you to the community. Thank you to our fans and our partners and our community partners. We couldn't do it without you, and we look forward to continuing to do it with you.
Doug?
Yeah, really quick, I'd say, to build on everything Chris said, the biggest thing fans can do now is support us, Saturday in our playoff game at Furman, Saturday afternoon, and sign up for season tickets for 2025. Get in line, get your seat priority order. Those people in 26 that are going to have the best seats are people that have been with us or will join us ahead of 2026 for tickets. Get your tickets. Come out Saturday. It's going to be a great ride.
I love it. I love it. Doug Irwin, CBO of the GVL Triumph. Chris Lewis, president of the club as well. And by the way, sexy construction worker for Halloween costumes for the boys. I think you're going to pull it off well. Fellas, appreciate y'all coming by. Thank you. And again, man, congratulations. It has been a blast to watch this whole thing play out. On behalf of the Riot, who I have absolutely no authority to speak on behalf of, but will anyway. Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
And Rob, we'll talk to you off air about the Rob Brown Trust Fund, which is that's how I've answered. How is this going to be paid for?
Yeah.
We'll talk to you off air about that.
Yep.
I knew it. We all knew it.
Yep. Lonzo, why do you think he suggested naming a trough after me? We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Boys, outstanding work. Thank you very much. Well done.
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting us stick around for a couple segments.
Indeed.
Beautiful. Fellas, we'll talk to you. I'll give you a text after the show. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Thanks, Lonzo. See you guys.
Hey, can you turn this light down over here a little bit?
Are you sweating?
No. There we go. That's good. No, I'm losing the mystique.
vibe?
Yeah, which is going to happen as daylight happens, but
Wrapping up hour number 2 here on this lovely Halloween Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up on the show, 8 o'clock straight up on the dot, Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News will swing by. We will talk to Lulu about the South Carolina Gamecocks as they are getting set to host the Cult of Texas A&M. We will both break that game down and do our best to tell Lulu to stay away from A&M fans because they're a cult and they're weird. Okay, so we'll talk to Lulu Kesson at 8 o'clock. Then, after Lulu Kesson, yesterday, I got the opportunity to sit down and speak with ESPN's Marty Smith, and we will play that interview for you right after Lulu at 7:20. Then, no Rashad Beard today, unfortunately. He actually has to do his real job today. So no Rashad Beard to end the next hour. He will return to the broadcast tomorrow to break down this Panthers-Saints game. Then at 9 o'clock, Hayton Ass Mario from the BetQL Network will join us. We will talk all the news and notes around the National Football League and perhaps dive into the NBA briefly
has Mario
as well.
been told about the dress code?
You know what? I did not talk to Mario about the dress code. I'll send him a text. Be like, hey, find a costume. Or just dress like yourself. It's scary enough. Heyo. Then at 9:20.
He should come as a surfer bro.
He does every single Thursday.
I know.
At 9 o'clock.
But he should just go, whoa, and gnarly a bunch.
If he doesn't dress as Spicoli, I feel like he's failed. Like, right? Like he doesn't, that's not even.
That was my skull.
That's not even a costume for Mario. That's just like, put on a tank top, you know? Just put on a tank top. And you'll be good to go.
I don't know. You might get hurt if you put on a tank top where he lives now. I'm just saying.
It's also very cold in DC. We'll see. Mario at 9 o'clock. And then Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo, coming up for you all throughout the rest of the show. So if you want to get in, right now is a great time to do it. We want you to do it at 844-FAN-FONE. That's 844-FAN-FONE. That is the renewal by Anderson to the Carolinas fan phone.
Are you about to give your own phone number?
No,
okay.
I actually still have my old Florida area code. I did change my license plate.
You said 864.
That's not my area code.
No, it's this area code.
Right. But that's not, no, my phone number is not 864.
Oh, okay. All right. I get it now. Okay.
My area code is still Florida. I changed my license plate on time, but not my phone number. I will keep that one. Mario at 9 o'clock, Fight Club at 9:20. Anywhere you want to get it in and fit it in between here and there, you are welcome to do so. 864-448-3772. Text to 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN. FAN, we'll read them on the air. And, of course, you can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet the great one at Lonzo on Word. Tweet us all at The Fan Upstate. Listen, I don't have a take, because we've only got a couple of minutes until we go to the top of the hour break and get Lulu Kesson lined up. So instead, since we're not doing the audio blitz in the next segment, and then we have, because Lulu Kesson, and then we have Marty Smith, Lonzo, we have a new Xavier Legette bite. Are you prepared? Are you mentally prepared as Xavier Legette and the Panthers get ready to go to Germany?
Do it.
Oh, I did the thing again.
Wow.
I did the thing again.
Such a Jedi thing to do. You know, a Sith would have worked.
Just hope they got some good food. I'm a picky eater, so I just hope they got something I can eat.
They have good chocolate.
I don't eat candy like this.
But what are your no-goes? You say you're a picky eater. What are your no-goes?
Yeah, I don't eat seafood. I don't eat like peppers and onions and all that. I don't really eat vegetables like this.
What? You eat like pizza?
Yeah, and like I just started eating asparagus. I eat like string beans and green peas. But
That's not a
it.
Do they have
surprise
to
for
be
some
cooked in
reason.
bacon grease?
Hmm?
Do they have to be cooked in bacon grease?
No. That ain't like that.
Pasta?
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Okay.
Yeah, I eat some pasta.
Chicken, steak, all the regular stuff.
Yeah.
No
all the regular-
seafood though?
Nah, I'm allergic.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll give you that one.
So many things. Why would you play
Where do we
that-
start?
that
Where do we
long?
start?
There's so much stuff there.
Where do we start? Asparagus. All right. I don't eat asparagus. Why don't you eat seafood? I'm allergic. Because I'm allergic. I love this. I adore this, man. Do you understand? Xavier Legette is the one cat in the existence of the Carolina Panthers and their divisional rivalry with the New Orleans Saints. There have been players that have come through Carolina that I've liked. Luke Kuechly, Steve Smith, despite the fact that he was the world's biggest bleep talker, Cam, Dan Morgan. There have been a lot of players that played in Carolina that I liked, but there have been zero that I like actively rooted for as a player, right? Like I want to see them do well. Guys I liked. They're fun. Xavier Legette, I am openly rooting. I hope Xavier Legette scores a touchdown against New Orleans on Sunday. I hope he gets in the end zone Sunday. While I'm there, I hope I'm next to Rashad Beard, because I'm going to tell you straight up, I will be adorned in black and gold, maybe. And if Xavier Legette gets in the end zone, y'all, I might ride dollar bill with him.
Listen, if you and if you and Rashad are both riding dollar bill, it might look weird. I'm just saying.
Hey, man, the guy is a national treasure. Xavier Legette.
Someone needs to tell him though that the string peas and green beans are actually vegetables.
Listen, I don't think Xavier Legette's all that worried about it. You know, like I don't think he's all that worried about it. He likes what he likes. He don't like what he don't like, and he owns it. And I respect that. My man said, I don't eat vegetables except for these 10 vegetables that I eat. Right? This dude said, why don't you eat seafood? I'm allergic. What's your favorite vegetable? I don't eat asparagus. I've never had asparagus, but I bet it's not that good if Xavier Legette says it's not that good. This dude's a treasure, man. Keith and TR says Xavier is a South Carolina treasure. Bingo. Exactly. Spot on. Precisely. Xavier Legette must be protected at all cost. We ride to war for Xavier Legette.
It's hard to protect him with where he's playing, though. I mean,
that's fair.
You know,
that team's bad, dude. That team's so bad. I mean, at this point, like it's not, but like it's just bad.
The Panthers are my other team, and I can't.
They're bad.
I didn't watch last week. I mean, I saw what highlights there were on Red Zone, but I recorded the game and was going to go back and watch. I just couldn't. It hurts your heart. It's so bad.
Yes, I'm not going to push back on that. It's painful. Again, I want this team to succeed, and I want this team to succeed because I get paid more when they do, and I'm a big fan of getting paid. All right? And there are guys I like. I don't care, unabashedly pulling for Bryce Young. Pulling for him to the point that there's a little bit of me that hopes he gets traded, goes somewhere else, and blows up. Because if Darnold does it, and Bake does it, and Bryce does it, then maybe there's massive institutional change coming down the pipe. We'll talk more about this later in the show when we come back. Lulu Kesson of the Greenville News is going to join us here on the radio broadcast to break down this Gamecock v. Aggies game. The Gamecocks and the Colt coming up this Saturday night at Will It Be. We'll talk about that with Lulu Kesson. Then my interview with Marty Smith from ESPN. Then Hate and Ask Mario at 9. Then Fight Club at 9:20. But Sports Flash right now.
You guys have no idea how hard it is to do this wearing this. The Los Angeles Dodgers are 2024 World Series champions after taking Game 5 from the New York Yankees 7-6 and claiming the series 4-1. New York led by 5 going into the 5th inning, but committed multiple mistakes that allowed the Dodgers to tie the game. New York took the lead back in the 6th, but a pair of Dodgers runs in the 8th sealed the win. Bryce Young will get another start at quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this Sunday against division rival New Orleans. The second-year quarterback out of Alabama will get the nod as Andy Dalton continues to rehab his sprained thumb. Make sure you tune in this Saturday at noon as the Furman Paladins take on the VMI Keydets. It's Furman versus VMI right here on your home for Paladins football. It is us. It is right here. It is The Fan, Upstate. The taste of the dark side.
May I see your lightsaber? I shan't break it.
Ow, it burns. You can't. Don't go in front of the camera. You can't do that. He's turning, ladies and gentlemen. This is my biggest fear, that you drop it. That's why I didn't want you to have it. Dude, if you do or you hit that TV, you're gonna have to pay it. Yeah.
My favorite moment in probably all of Star Wars is in Rebels when Obi-Wan and Darth Maul meet in the desert on Tatooine. And Obi-Wan, when Maul is about to attack him, Obi-Wan does his Obi-Wan pose, but then you see his eyes narrow and he drops and he does Qui-Gon's pose, and Maul attacks him like he did Qui-Gon, how he killed Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan gets him, and you can see in Maul's face the realization that he just got. And they did that with animation. It was phenomenal.
Can you take us down for a moment?
Yes, I can. All right, guys, we got to get Lulu up. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. And here we go. Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show is underway. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you. Want to thank Doug Irwin and Chris Lewis from the Greenville Triumph for joining us earlier in the show. The Triumph announcing yesterday that a new 10,000-seat soccer facility is on its way to the Bridgeway Station in Malden, South Carolina. Very excited about that. We have got coming up in the next segment my interview that I did yesterday with ESPN's Marty Smith. Phenomenal conversation with Marty. I'll play that for you coming up next. We got at 9 o'clock, Hayden S. Mario Herron from the BetQL Network. Look forward to speaking with him. 9:20 Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. And then in that last segment, we'll talk a little World Series. The LA Dodgers are your 2024 World Series champions. They take game 5 from the Yankees last night, a 5-run rally by the team in the dark blue as they are able to get back thanks to some we'll say mistakes to keep it classy in front of our next guest. She covers the South Carolina Gamecocks for the Greenville News, based in Columbia, South Carolina. The lovely Lulu Kesson joins us now on the show. Good morning, Lulu. Happy Halloween to you.
Good morning. Happy Halloween to you guys. Thanks for having me as usual.
Are you a costume person? Or like, do you still get in on the fun and shenanigans, or are you one of these sad people who say that fun's not allowed?
No, I'm dressing up tonight. I'm doing something low key, but I don't mind like a good, easy costume. So for sure, I love Halloween.
Are you ready to reveal to the nation what the Halloween costume this evening is going to be?
Yeah, I'll say, even though I told my parents it would be a surprise, but it's a couple's costume. I'm going to be Tammy Taylor, and my boyfriend's dressing up as Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights.
Yes! Bravo! Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose, Lulu Kesson. I love it. Well done.
Thank you. Exactly.
Let's go. That's good. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. All right, let's talk some South Carolina football. Lulu Kesson, bye week in the back pocket now. We talked a little bit about what you wanted South Carolina to accomplish during the week off last weekend. Now they've gone through that. It's just about game day. What can you tell us the coaches, the players, et cetera, have been saying about what they did accomplish during the bye week?
I asked Shane Beamer kind of flat out. I was like, you were so frustrated after Ole Miss because you said you had such a great week of practice, and then South Carolina comes out and plays the way that they did. So I was sort of like, how do you guarantee, even if you have a great week of practice this week, that you don't get the same result? And he seemed honest. He was like, yeah, we made some adjustments. And he had addressed it even before I asked him. They kind of worked the schedule of their bye week around. I think they had different off days, and he said just by nature of being healthier, they were able to do a lot more, which felt good. They, all 3 coaches we've talked to said that they feel a lot better with what they were able to accomplish this past week than the week prior, just with like Norris and Rocket being pretty banged up the first bye week. So am I 1,000% confident that South Carolina is going to like come out on Saturday and not look sluggish? Like, I don't know, but it did seem genuine in the coaches that they at least believe that there'll be a positive change based on how they prepared this past bye week versus the last one.
The thought that Zoe and I had at the conclusion of the Oklahoma game, and I think we talked a little bit about it last week, was that the offense kind of took the foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. I mean, that's a game that we all wanted to see the Gamecocks go put a 50-burger up on the road at Oklahoma. They didn't do that. You mentioned it. It sounded like Shane was a little frustrated about that. Do you think we see a more aggressive mentality specifically out of Dow Loggins in the offense, but out of this team as a whole this weekend? Because this is absolutely a step up in challenge level than Oklahoma was.
1,000%, and I don't think they win the game if not. I was a little surprised. I mean, granted, who knows what actually went on in the second half versus Oklahoma, but like yesterday, Dowell expressed, because it was media's first time talking to Dowell Loggins since the Oklahoma game. And he seems pretty annoyed with the way South Carolina played in that second half. And so I was sort of like, okay, he wasn't saying, oh, I was calling vanilla offense. I took my foot off the gas, whatever. So I was sort of kind of like, okay, where was that coming from? But that being said, I just don't think South Carolina can even keep this Texas A&M game close with any boring offense, and with no aggressiveness and no assertion, then they're going to have a difficult time for sure.
What specifically, and obviously our last question will and always is, Lulu Kesson, what do the Gamecocks need to do to pull off the win here? But if I asked you to kind of game plan this out, I mean, to me, defense has got to set the edge. You cannot let either of the two A&M quarterbacks get to the outside of the pocket. You cannot give them any room to be comfortable. I don't know if that involves putting a spy on these two cats when they're running around, or if you're just trusting two very good young edge rushers to consistently set the edge and keep them in the pocket. That is the key to the game as far as I'm concerned. If I asked you for one or two that you think South Carolina is going to lean on to try to contain the Aggie offense, what would they be?
Yeah, so that's kind of exactly what I've been looking at. It's, in a sense, it's a little bit of iron sharpens iron, just for lack of a better phrase, because it's kind of the South Carolina is at its best stopping the run game. I think they're like third this year as of right now in the SEC in just like fewest rushing yards allowed per game, but obviously Texas A&M has one of the best rushing attacks in SEC football. So it's obvious that Texas A&M is going to run the ball. This isn't a game like LSU where I felt like South Carolina competitively could match up, but kind of lacked in the skill department a little bit here and there. Whereas on the flip side, Texas A&M is clearly not really going to throw the ball. I think even in their win against LSU last week, they were like 6 of 20 or something passing. Like, neither quarterback wants to throw the ball. But on the flip side, both teams are pretty comparable in terms of stopping the run game, whereas Texas A&M is a lot worse at defending the passing game than South Carolina is. So I imagine South Carolina, in order to game plan, has to look at the fact that they're a lot weaker when you throw the ball, and South Carolina is clearly more comfortable doing so than Texas A&M is. So while I think Texas A&M's offense is stronger, South Carolina may have to lean into their versatility if they're going to pull this one out, because I don't think that you can sit here and say, like, oh, South Carolina has proven enough on the offensive end of things to, outplay the best of the best, whereas clearly their defense has said that almost every game.
I don't disagree with that at all. So offensively, is this one about opening up the playbook a little bit? Because obviously there's been a lot of conversation about Lenora Sellers. We have seen the flashes of genius, but we've also seen the mistakes of a young man under a little bit of pressure. I think you can point to the Alabama game perhaps as the best illustration of that. So now that he got to go out on the road to Oklahoma, played well, the team was able to put some points on the board, though the defense carried a lot of it offensively. You were able to find the end zone a couple of times. Do we think we start to see the playbook open up for Lenora Sellers a little bit this weekend?
I think so. Dowell said the whole thing about the Mazio touchdown, like that wasn't even in the playbook, I think Dowell is going to do what Dowell wants to do regardless. I think that obviously the opponent really matters, but truthfully, I think Dowell trusts that Lenora isn't going to continue to make the same mistake twice. While yes, he has game after game, turned the ball over, fumbled, whatever, like, in a way, I sort of am trusting that Lenoris has reached a point, because that Alabama game was kind of so obviously his fault, to say it harshly, that he's at a point where he's like, I can't do that again. Didn't have any turnovers against Oklahoma, and is hopefully on this upward trend, which may result in a little bit more for him this weekend, because he's earned that trust in the last, 2 weeks.
Lulu Kesson covers the South Carolina Gamecocks for the Greenville News. She joins us every Thursday at 8 o'clock to talk a little bit about this Gamecock program. As far as what we have seen in Southeastern Conference play. Texas A&M, obviously the last undefeated team in conference. I think this is, Lulu Kesson, a very good Texas A&M team. I don't put them up there with Georgia. I don't put them up there with Texas. I don't put them up there with Ohio State. I don't put them up there yet amongst the absolute cream of the crop when it comes to overall college football play. It's obviously a very good team. I think Mike Elko does something, though, that Jimbo Fisher never did. It is a team that plays good, intelligent, and disciplined football, which I don't think was ever the case under Jimbo Fisher. I absolutely think South Carolina's got the dogs to make this. I won't say win, to make this a football game, but I think more so than Ole Miss, more so than LSU, more so than even Bama, to win this game, South Carolina has to play clean football, mistake-free football, cannot turn the ball over. I think even -1 in the turnover department ends up costing you any shot at winning this game. What is your analysis on the increase, fingers crossed, in discipline of this team after that Alabama game, after that Ole Miss game, certainly in what I think is a game that you've got to play pretty damn close to perfect?
Yeah, so here's what I think is a little bit odd. That Shane Beamer had been very vocal, like, we addressed turnovers, we addressed discipline, we addressed mistakes. And then he said, like, oh, the key to the game against Oklahoma was just dominate the turnover battle, win the turnover battle, play clean. And then they did that. They had, 3 forced turnovers in the first 2 minutes. And then Lenore Sellers and nobody else, no one turned the ball over. So while I do believe that Shane was addressing discipline and addressing, discipline in terms of no penalties, but also discipline in terms of protecting the ball, I think that had been brought up, but it was sort of why did it take it being a literal key to the game for it to actually happen? So I'm kind of in this weird, like you said, kind of cross your fingers, hold your breath phase. That's okay, you've had an entire week off now. How are you going to reinforce and reintroduce this and not treat it as, okay, this is just a single game issue, and realize that the most disciplined players on the field are going to win this game, especially in a night game, against a team that hasn't lost in conference play.
I think it is fantastic for this team that they were able to go get that win against Oklahoma, Lulu. If for no other reason, then there has been, at least for me over here in Greenville, a noticeable uptick in the emotion, optimism of South Carolina fans. I mean, I think if anything else had gone wrong for them against Oklahoma, maybe this game doesn't really have the juice. But under the lights, Saturday night, Willie B, Columbia, South Carolina, and the opportunity to hand Texas A&M their first conference L of the season. Is the atmosphere over there setting up the way like it feels over here that Willie B is going to be absolutely shaken on Saturday night?
Yes. So I'll say yes, period. Williams-Brice Stadium will be absolutely electric on Saturday. I don't doubt that. I firmly believe that. I think that from start to finish, the environment in that stadium is going to be mayhem. But to be a Debbie Downer, what I kind of been saying is okay, yes. However, Texas A&M is undefeated in conference play, riding a 7-game win streak, both at home and on the road. They've won some tough games in the SEC on the road, whereas South Carolina has yet to win a conference game in Williams-Brice Stadium. So, anything can happen. I'm not saying that it's just, those two factors, but it is sort of what I've been bringing up, hey, this Texas A&M team isn't a team that's proven it gets rattled outside of their own stadium. But to answer your question simply, yes, Williams-Brice Stadium will likely be absolutely insane on Saturday.
I love it. All right, love it. All right, Lulu Kesson, last one before we let you get up out of here for the day. You know what's coming. The South Carolina Gamecocks able to beat the Texas A&M Aggies if and only if blank.
The passing game does something. They're able to throw and connect with the receivers. They're aggressive on offense in that kind of same vein. And like we mentioned, they play disciplined football and don't turn the ball over. I think this game is theirs to take.
All right. Last thing, not a question, just a piece of advice, Lulu Kesson. Texas A&M is a cult. Their fans are weird. They will try to convert you. I need you, for the sake of your own sanity and repeated occurrences on this show, stay away from Aggie fans. They're terrifying.
Well, the funny thing, and I'll say this really quickly, is that my boyfriend has been to one SEC football game before he moved here, and it's a Texas A&M game because his cousins went there. And so he's told me all about that environment, and I'm like, it's still nothing like you're about to see on Saturday.
I hope not.
I will not.
I think Lulu, I think Kyle Field, College Station, phenomenal home field. I think it's dramatically overrated. I think those World War II cosplaying dorks are trying to convince the world they're cooler than they are. Just be careful around the Ags because there's something wrong upstairs. Lulu is all I'm saying.
I'll set screens if they try to get in the press box.
There it is. I love it. Lulu Kesson covers the Gamecocks for the Greenville News. Joins us every Thursday at 8 o'clock. You are the best, young lady. Have a ball this Saturday. Talk to you next week.
Thank you. Happy Halloween. I'll see you guys next week.
You as well. Breaking out the Friday Night Lights costume for Halloween is Lulu Kesson.
I just thought
Bravo.
Run a screen on those guys. I mean, somebody needs to.
I got to tell you,
You have convinced me about the cult thing the more I see.
Dude, just go look at any video from a Yale practice. Woo!
But
I was down at the farm watching, and they sent old Brian Kelly down there. And you know what Brian Kelly say? He said they're normal. We ain't freaking nerds.
First of all, you're disgracing the robes by doing that while wearing Jedi robes. Don't.
Freaking cult, dude. They're so weird. I'm sorry. I think the Aggies are the only college football fan base I'm openly hostile to. Right? Like the only one I'm openly hostile to. All right, when we come back, yesterday had the opportunity to sit down and do a little discussion with ESPN's Marty Smith. Talk to him a little bit about how he got where he is, where he came from, et cetera, and it was a phenomenal conversation that I will play for you next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Gloves.
No, I pushed it twice. New life.
All right, guys, be right back. Stay right there for me. Feel free, FG. They are World War II cosplaying dorks.
Got my first jump scare a minute ago, bro.
I've been calling them World War II cosplaying dorks. I mean, I say that like I'm not dressed like a
Yeah,
dork,
I
but
did.
at
When
least I do
you
it on
said it, I
Halloween.
was like, yeah, you're saying that while it's wearing.
Yes, but it is Halloween.
I know.
These dorks do it every day as if that's a totally normal.
So,
You're not in the military.
how low does your robe go?
To the floor.
Okay, that's going to be a problem for you Saturday, isn't it?
No, it's not like dragging. It's like at the heel.
Okay.
I guess.
You know, I borrowed this from Cameron. It's under my feet. How the heck does he walk around with this on? No offense to my son, but he's a tad bit shorter. There are moments when I don't feel like I look like a Jedi. I look like the evil queen dressed up as a crone in Snow White. But, you know, I just had an apple to give Rob. He could be Sleeping Beauty. I know I mixed them up, but, you know, did it on purpose.
Our buddy famously Garnet popping into the chat as the Gamecocks set to host the Cult of Texas A&M this weekend. He said, cosplaying World War II dorks. I'll be using this, Rob. If those dorks do their midnight yell at the State House again, I will be sure to get a cosplay dork chant going. Feel free, FG, and they deserve it. They deserve it. I went to, and somebody asked me, I don't remember when, not terribly long ago, what my issue is with Texas A&M. And I'm going to tell you. When I lived down in the Florida Panhandle doing radio, the stations that I worked for a cluster of 3 stations, locally owned, but a cluster of 3 stations. And our 3 stations were the flagship stations for Florida State University, Alabama, and LSU in the Florida Panhandle. So one of our stations carried FSU games, one of our stations carried Alabama games, and one of our stations carried LSU games because Destin, Florida is affectionately referred to as Baton Rouge East because after Katrina, a ton of folks from southeastern Louisiana relocated to Destin. There's a very heavy Louisiana influence there in the Destin area. So we were the flagship station of LSU. So LSU, I think it was A&M's first year in the Southeastern Conference. LSU was hosting Texas A&M. And I got press passes and I went over there to cover the game because I wanted to see what the Ags fans were all about. I had been to a ton of games in Baton Rouge because as I have told you guys on the show before, I'm from Louisiana, obviously. So a good chunk of my family are LSU fans, went to LSU. So I was like, you know what? Let me go over. Good excuse to go to an LSU game. And also I want to see what the Ags are all about. I had a dear friend of mine that I went to high school with who went to Texas A&M. And he's like, dude, it's the best fan base in college football. You're never going to find a better fan base than A&M. Like, you're going to be blown away. Come to Baton Rouge. We'll meet up. I'll take you to Midnight Yell. And I'm like, all right. At the time, I didn't really know much about A&M. And I thought, Midnight Yell, it's a pep rally, right? It's a midnight pep rally. I thought, why the hell not? Why not? And on top of that, the Ags fans had organized this event, this Midnight Yell, this pep rally. They had organized it to take place in a big lot behind a bar in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that I was a big fan of when I was growing up. So I went to this event.
He obviously means after he was an adult.
Yes, after I was an adult.
After you're drinking age, you're still not quite an adult yet.
I mean, effectively. When I was a college kid who would occasionally find his way over to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, this bar was a haunt for me. So I went and I got there, and there were legitimately 20,000 people there. And I thought, oh, damn, it's pretty good turnout, right? Midnight pep rally the night before a game, pretty good turnout from the crowd. And then those weird ass yell leaders came out on the stage wearing their overalls and white dress shirts under them. And they started doing the weirdest pep rally I've ever been to in my life. All right. What they do is they don't come out and like a pep rally. Ordinarily, you have the band play and like the cheerleaders and the dance team do their dances and stuff. And you'll do chants and stuff, but it's like, traditional cheerleading stuff. U-G-L-Y, you ain't got no alibi, you ugly. Yeah, you ugly. Right? No, not these dorks. Not these dorks. They grab microphones and they tell jokes, but they don't tell jokes like a stand-up comedian that are, what's the word I'm looking here for? Funny. They basically take the same 6 jokes and they just replace the name of the school in the jokes. I went on down to see the LSU cheerleaders last night, and all the fans would go, huh? And do you know what I saw when I walked into that room? Huh? 1 full set of teeth. Giga Maggies. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Hi-ya! Cha-cha-cha-cha! Choo-choo! And I'm sitting in the back of this audience like, what are we doing here, fellas? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? How many LSU fans does it take to change a light bulb? Huh? 79,000. One to do it, and the other to get drunk and yell about how good they are at it. Hoo-da, hee-ya, woo-doo, ha-da. That's it. It's 2 hours of that.
I do have a question. Do those guys, do they get the girls? Do they get the ladies?
I mean, I assume.
Are they looked upon favorably on that campus?
I assume they get the Aggie girls, but I promise you, they're not rolling with that vibe, that look, and that behavior into Baton Rouge and stealing any Tiger ladies away. They're not going into Oxford, Mississippi and yelling with their dorky overalls on about how, Giga Maggies. I promise you they're not rolling into Oxford, Mississippi and stealing any of the rebel ladies. They ain't coming to Columbia, South Carolina and taking home any of the ladycocks this weekend. I promise you. They're dorks. They're dorks. You know how, and I can say this because I also was a dork, but like not like dork like they're dorks. They're bad dorks. All right, I was a fun dork. You know how, Lonzo, there were like those 2 or 3 kids in every high school class that were too weird for even the weird kids. Like there's the weird kids, but the weird kids are still the cool kids. They're still in the group. They're still cool, right? Like the weird kids, but the football players will still talk to them. That's fine. They're weird, but they're not like outlandish. And then there's that group of dorks that make it uncomfortable. The dorks that do the anime run down the hallway from class to class. And you're like, John Lackios, you have to stop.
All right.
You have to stop, Lackios.
I don't know why you're using my dude's last name. It's kind of messed up. I just want to say I never experienced that because anime wasn't big in the United States yet. So
I do.
Whatever
the thing they did was
that's the Naruto run.
Yes, these were the dudes that like when one day one of the cheerleaders was like, you know what, I'm going to be nice to the weird kid today. I'm having a moment. I had a good night at Bible study last night. I'm going to be nice to the weird kid today. And she goes and tries to be nice to the weird kid. And she goes, hey, John, how's your day going, buddy? And he goes, and like hisses at her. So because that's a real thing I watched happen.
There's a good portion of those kids who sat at my lunch table as a senior because we decided that they needed a place to sit. And so I just have, there's a special place in my heart. Not that I fit in with them. I might have. I doubt it. Scholar athlete, everyone knew who I was. That type of thing.
5-star recruit.
Yeah, well,
blue chipper.
Well, I wish at least a 2-star. But anyway, which is a whole lot for our school at the time. I sympathized, I empathized with the weird kids.
I'm not talking. Yes, absolutely. But I'm talking about the kids that you sympathize with, you empathize with, and then they make you regret it because they go over the top.
These guys, I've seen the guys that you're talking about. No, these are preppy guys. These are guys that were on the baseball team. These are guys that they come from money. Daddy's rich.
Yeah,
that's
but
what these guys
those guys are still in with the cheerleaders and all that. All right, even if Zoe doesn't, y'all out there know the dude I'm talking about. Y'all got one you went to high school with. The kid that you one day were like, I'm going to be nice to this kid because, he's ostracized. And then like 10 minutes in, you're like, I regret doing that. I shouldn't have tried this. Being nice has backfired on me because this kid's a weirdo.
The fact that you're saying I'm going to be nice to this kid because that's kind of messed up.
Okay, Lonzo, the absolute arbiter of moral propriety, has never been there before. But for the rest of us that live out here in the real world,
right, it's obvious I was that kid, and
no, you're not even that guy.
Wow.
You're not even that guy.
Rob said hi to me today. I bet Rob's my friend. That's going to be awesome. We're going to hang out and stuff, and then it doesn't happen.
Okay, so for those of us who live out here in the real world, that's just how life works. It's unfortunate. Everyone should be nice to everybody else, but that's not how it works. The kid I'm talking about, the kid that the cheerleader says hello to and he hisses in her face and runs away like a weirdo. That's A&M. Those kids all turned into Aggies. They all turned into Texas A&M Aggies. They are the people that they show up and you're nice to them, and then 10 minutes in, you're like, I should not have invited you around my regular friends. You should not. I should not have brought you here. You're in a cult. You're weird. Go away. Naruto run to another table, you dork. I can't. The only fan base I'm openly hostile to, if you see an Aggie fan, you know how Georgia fans, I've always made fun of them for getting down on the ground and barking at other fans?
Wait, they actually get down on the ground?
Yes. Their thing is they will have one dude drop down to all four Scott Steiner style and another guy grab him by the back of the shorts and hold him back like he's an actual bulldog trying to attack. That's their thing. And they do that to away team visitors. That's less dumb than everything the Aggies do. I will hang out with Georgia Bulldog men who crawl around on the ground barking before Aggie dorks. Welcome to Columbia, dorks. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
All right, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to scratch a part of my face. I can't not scratch a part of my face. Oh, there we go. There it is.
Relief.
Weirdly, it's a place where there's nothing on it. So I don't purposefully go against what Rob says. We just come from two different parts of the world. I mean, that's just how it is. And when I see these guys in overalls, they just look like preppy punks. They do. They don't look like weirdos. I bet one of them could walk into this room right now without overalls on, and you wouldn't know that he's one of those guys.
Corn Chip said there was a girl at my high school that was a loner and would physically hit you if you got in her way when she was running between classes. That's the person I'm talking about, right? The person who makes it, who actively tries to make you dislike them. Not that they're not like
See,
they
here's
want to
the
be.
problem. I look at these guys and I see exactly what I said. I see preppies. I see guys that can walk into this room not wearing overalls, and you would think they were a normal person. I think this is just an act. This is what they do. It's part of that culture, but I don't think that they're the people that you're describing.
Oh, no. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that the kids that were that way in high school all go to be Aggies, right? Yes, guys who go to A&M, not on scholarship, come for money. That's not a cheap school to attend. That's an expensive damn school to attend. I know people who have gone to A&M, and I've actively told them your fan base is made up of dorks. When I say that, I don't mean they were dorky in high school and went on to be Aggies. I mean they're dorks now, and they are the college football equivalent of the people in high school that went out of their way to actively be left alone. And you know, when you're in a high school and you're one of however big your high school was, I think I want to say we had like 20,000 kids at my high school, right? Like it's a big school. It's almost impossible to be a loner at school, right? You are around people all the time. It's almost impossible to be a loner. And then you start getting into classes where you got to work with people, whatever. And there were kids I went to school with who actively disliked being in proximity to other people. Well, at high school, you're in proximity to other people all the time. So in order to be left alone when you're in a place with 20,000+ people in it, you've got to actively make people go out of their way to stay out of your way. And so you act weird. You just act weird. There's no other way to put it. I'm not a bully. I'm anti-bullying. But there are some kids that like they go out of their way to get you out of their circle. And Aggie fans are the college football version of that. I will tell you the other aspect of it that drives me nuts. And this isn't exclusive to Texas A&M, but they are the best at it. It is the college football fans who make their entire culture nothing more than telling you how much better of a fan than you they are.
Sounds familiar around here.
I'm just saying. All right. Take that as you will. But there are some college fan bases whose entire identity is wrapped up in how big, like how much better they are than you at anything. And A&M is, as far as I'm concerned, easily the most egregious at that. Oh, Kyle Field, College Station. Yo, I've not been to College Station yet. But I'm going to tell you right now, and for those of you that tuned in looking for the Marty Smith interview, unfortunately, I have it. It's saved. It's recorded. But I went to export it to be able to play, and it's going to take like 20 minutes. So we're going to have to get to it tomorrow. All right? So come back tomorrow. We will play that interview tomorrow at probably 8 o'clock straight up. We'll play the interview with Marty Smith. But I will tell you that in that interview where we spent a few minutes talking about Marty Smith, the person, Marty and McGee, the show, and then his jobs within ESPN and yada, yada, yada. And one of the questions that I asked him was, if I told you that you have one college football tradition to put on display to illustrate the greatness of college football, what tradition would it be? Would it be Clemson running down the hill and touching Howard Rock? Would it be Sandstorm in Columbia? Would it be, Tennessee running out of the tee? What would it be? And Marty kind of walked through his list of favorite traditions. And when he got to the point, that he was talking about fan bases, he said, not me, he said, the folks at College Station are great. That's a great environment. I'm telling you, there is not a louder stadium in America than Death Valley, Baton Rouge at nighttime. And I will tell you, as somebody who's been to South Bend, Indiana, Gainesville, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida, Coral Gables, Florida, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Oxford, Mississippi, Athens, Georgia, yada, yada, yada. I will tell you, somebody who's been pretty well traveled to college football stadiums across the South and a couple outside of it, he's right. Baton Rouge, LSU on a Saturday night, there is not a louder, more ridiculous stadium to be in. But the Aggie fans will go to the ends of the world to convince you that Kyle Field is special. No, it's not. It's great. It's a great stadium, but it's not special. I would even argue that, and I don't know this because I haven't been to either one of them, but I do talk to people who have. And I will tell you right now, Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon is right there neck and neck with Kyle Field. With 20,000 fewer seats, it is right there with College Station.
All right. I was curious, and you're definitely going to make fun of this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I wanted to see if any former Yell leaders were famous.
I'm sure there's got to be one or two.
And there's a couple. And this makes sense going along with the kind of school that you said it is.
Yep.
It's got to be rich to get in there.
Yep.
Notable former Aggie Yell leaders include former Texas Governor and Secretary of Energy Rick Perry.
Checks out.
Trauma surgeon Dr. Red Duke.
That's a good name.
Yeah, it is a really good name. And Texas State Representative Trent Ashby. So no actors or anything like that, just famous politicians and a doctor.
Not just a doctor, though. Like
surgeon.
A doctor that, like, all you do is that doctor stuff,
Yeah.
right? That's not a doctor like a normal doctor.
Well, he's a trauma surgeon,
Yeah.
too, which means, what? Is that like an ER?
Yeah,
surgeon?
that's like you come in and you're jacked up. This is the guy that's going to try to fix you or at least not let you die, for sure. That checks out. I will tell you this. Feel how you want to feel about politics. Rick Perry's a weird dude, all right? He's just a weird dude.
Yeah, I said you'd have fun with
Yeah.
it, didn't I? But I don't know. Red Duke comes in. You've just been in a horrible accident. He gets called in, and he was at a Texas A&M game. He's wearing the overalls. Do you say nope?
If he comes into surgery wearing the overalls, if I go in there and they go, hey, Rob Brown, we need this guy, Red Duke, Dr. Duke, to operate on you or else you're going to die. Hey, FYI, he's an Aggie grad. My answer would be, gig him. I mean, I don't hate A&M so much. I'm dying for it.
Okay. All right. So there is a level of hatred there.
But this is what I will say. There's a meme that goes around on the internet, great one. And usually it has to do with like a fan base, right? So it'll be like lunchtime in the DC universe, and there'll be like 5 tables, and like over at this table, it's like Batman, Green Arrow, and Polka Dot Man, and then over here it's like King Shark and Chitara and Wonder Woman, and there'll be groups, and it'll go, what table are you sitting at, right? Like what group of these characters are you sitting with? If I walked into the lunchtime at the college football headquarters, and they're like, what table do you want to sit at? And there's an Aggie at every table, I'm sitting by myself. All right, I'll sit by myself.
I don't want to lose nerd cred by letting you say Chitara. Chitara's from Thundercats.
Thank you for saving me.
Cheetah.
I knew that. Oh, the point here is the Aggie fans are weird, and South Carolina fans, I don't say this very often, I say it now. Give them hell. All right? Give them hell. Give them hell. I'm not talking about on the football field. I'm talking like Aggie fans around Columbia. Give them hell.
Come on. No,
have fun. Go bananas. Talk smack.
Be kind unless someone is being unkind to you, and then do what Rob said.
Give them hell. Start to finish, top to bottom, from the minute that plane touches down in Columbia International till the moment they get on the plane to go the hell back to College Station. Give them hell.
Can you explain to me why overalls are a college thing? Because every college fan base you look, there are quite a few fellas wearing the overalls.
College football Saturday. I'm fine to put on a unique outfit, a special outfit. All right, I'm good with it. I'm a jersey guy. For me, I'm going jeans and a jersey. If it's hot outside in the summertime, I go with jersey and then the shorts that match the color of the team's pants. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a jersey guy, but I am fine with having like a unit, like the wife. She has game day outfits. She doesn't wear them in her normal day-to-day life, but if the Cox are playing on a Saturday night, she's got stuff she breaks out just for game day, right? I'm fine with that. And overalls are on that list of for whatever reason they become big, especially the ones that are like the team colored striped overalls.
Right.
You've seen those?
That's what I'm talking about. And they're all over the place. It looks like every college game day or every college crowd that you see when they show the student section, there are people out there wearing those.
And I'm 100% good with that. I'm fine. Like it's game day. It's unique. What I'm not down with is these dorks out there that can't decide if they want to be cosplaying sergeants in the World War II Army of the United States of America, or if they want to cosplay dirt farmers from Texas. One day they're dressed up in beige khaki outfits like they're about to get shipped off to Iwo Jima, and then the next day they roll out there like they got a cow pasture they got to go flip some patties in. Pick one, you dorks.
Okay, so if you want to compare these to the guys in high school who wore camo and shopped at the surplus store, maybe that's more of a comparison.
No, I don't think so, because even those guys, I could connect with those guys over something. You know what I mean? I could be like, oh yeah, I hunted growing up. I can talk to you about hunting for sure. I drove a truck for a little while in high school. I can talk to you about your truck. That's fine. I'm talking about the kids, though, that it's 87 degrees in the middle of August and they show up to school in a trench coat and a fedora. No, John, stop. It is 87 degrees outside. There is no damn need for a floor-length trench coat, my man. None.
All right. Again, I don't think you're allowed to wear trench coats in high school.
Well, you're not anymore, but when I was in high school, you were.
Yeah, so you're being awful specific. You keep throwing names out there like you actually
just one. I do.
Just the one guy.
The one guy.
Is he a friend?
He not anymore. And honestly, I'll tell you, I was funny enough, Zoe. I actually was friends with this guy. And I tried to help him. And I came to the conclusion, like my junior year, he doesn't want to be helped. He likes this is his choice to live this way. His name was John, good dude. But just he didn't want to be around people. We only connected because we shared a home room my sophomore year. I remember it very well. And I went into work wearing an NWO or running to school wearing an NWO shirt one day. And he's like, "Are you a wrestling fan?" I was like, "Yeah, bro. Grew up a wrestling fan." And then we connected over wrestling. That was it. That was our thing. We connected over wrestling.
Yeah, no more. I mean, that's definitely a normal American fan base right there, a wrestling fan.
Oh, for sure. For the record, when I go to wrestling shows, I go like 25% for the wrestling show and 75% to look at wrestling fans. All right. It's a weird fan base too. I'm part of it. I'm allowed to say it.
Okay, mister, I'm wearing an MJF outfit to AEW.
You know why I did that? Because I'm better than you and you know it. I became friends with the guy, and it for me, and again, maybe this is sanctimonious of me. I got to the point where I was like, I'm going to help you be a normal person. I want to help. I'm not saying I'm going to change you, but I'm going to get you to the point where you can have conversations with people in real life and not have them walk away going, never again. That's not, he wanted that. That's what he wanted.
Hey, could you help me out with that?
That's the Aggies.
I probably need some help with that.
I mean, I can.
Especially when you're like talking to like big wig smart people.
Yep.
Like say someone who owns like a soccer team.
Yeah, for sure.
And my mind just goes completely blank, and you could have come in for the save, but instead you just stood there and watched.
Or like when we have WWE Hall of Famers on, and Lonzo goes, "Yes, Mr. Kane." Like that?
That still was messed up.
All right, coming up in the next segment, Hayden asked Mario Herron for the BetQL Network is going to join us on the show. Texter says, "I will physically assault someone in Colombia because Rob Brown said so." All right, I didn't go that far.
Wow, the Armada is just a name. It's not a call to action when it comes to physicality.
I'm just saying, give him hell. Give him hell. Texter says, "I'm on board." Another texter says, "Go Penn State." I don't know why they'd send that message.
I don't have a clue why that. I mean, because of course we've been talking.
Why
about
would you
Penn State
randomly say
day.
"Go Penn State" to Ohio State, Lonzo,
it's
and
so
I?
Odd.
It
There is someone we both know that's one of those famous people I was talking about who roots for Penn State. So I mean, maybe it was that guy.
Mario Heron, BetQL Network next up. James said it's not the Rob Brown militia.
You sure made it sound like it.
Hey, Nas Mario next. Sports Flash now.
In case you didn't know, now you know the Los Angeles Dodgers are your 2024 World Series champions.
World Series?
World Series champions. I won't even get through a story if you stay in here. After taking Game 5 from the New York Yankees 7-6 and claiming the series 4-1, don't you dare mess up on any word the rest of the show. New York led by 5 going into the fifth inning, but committed multiple mistakes that allowed the Dodgers to tie the game. New York took the lead back in the 6th, but a pair of Dodgers runs in the 8th sealed the win for the Dodgers. Charlotte Hornets improved 2-2 with a 138-133 win over the Toronto Raptors last night. The Buzz scored at least 30 points in all 4 quarters. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels take on the Boiling Springs Bulldogs right here on the Fan Upstate. James, you are Marshall?
There's a Comic-Con going on in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama showed up just to walk around and hang out.
Did he dress up just as himself?
Yeah, he just went as Victor Wembanyama. Hey, Nas Mario!
I feel like it'd be hard for Wemby to dress up.
To just blend in at a Comic-Con?
Yeah.
I don't know. He could find someone who would paint like.
Ooh, he'd make a mean Darth Vader.
Well, he would, but paint something on his legs to make it look like he's walking on stilts.
Bro, he goes by the nickname Alien. His name's built right in.
That's gonna take so much paint.
So much paint.
It would take a lot of paint.
Oh man, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I'm surprised you didn't go a sleeveless costume.
No, man. I spent too much on a Jedi robe not to wear it.
I'm upset that you didn't get the memo. I don't get why you're not dressed up like us.
I'm a Halloween Grinch. I hate Halloween.
Oh, you're one of those I hate fun people?
My siblings ruined it for me when I was a kid. They terrorized me every Halloween. They beat the crap out of me.
Good save.
Yeah.
Were they dressed as any certain characters whilst beating you?
They made me watch Halloween when I was in first grade, and it scared me. So they would put on a Michael Myers mask and they'd beat the crap out of me. They'd lock me in my room, cut the power, and just play that music on repeat for 4 hours. Yeah, it would terrorize me. So
you don't feel sorry for him at all. You're just over there laughing. I mean, that's pretty abusive.
It just explains so much about Mario.
Dude, the only time I've ever swung on a friend was because in college, I went to college, same college as one of my older siblings. They made a joke about it. And I told him if anyone does that, I will freak out. And my friend thought I was kidding. And he put on a Michael Myers mask, woke me up. And I literally stood up and gave him the hardest I've ever punched anyone right in the nose. And I just went nuts on him. And then he was like, all right, my bad.
Must not have been that hard of a punch then. Just saying, because,
I was 40 pounds lighter.
The final, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown the great one, Darth Alonzo, with you here on a Thursday, Halloween, upstate AM. Great to have you along for the ride. Got a lot to get to in this hour of the show. Next segment, Fight Club with the great one, Darth Alonzo. We will end the hour talking about the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series last night over the New York Yankees.
I'll make you pay. I will. Remember, this is a fight you don't really want.
That's objectively funny to me.
How many times have I saved you today? One really bad time.
One really bad one.
Yes.
That's very fair. That's very fair. We will talk World Series to end the show. But before any of that, as we do every Thursday at 9 o'clock, we take it up to BetQLHQ and welcome in the executive producer of BetMGM Tonight, which you can hear on the station every weekday night from 7 to 11 p.m. The former executive producer of Bet for the Cycle with myself and Cody Decker, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4. He is an NBA and NFL analyst for the BetQL Network. He is Mario Heron, a.k.a. Hatin' Mario, who dressed in a reference he doesn't get as Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High today. Good costume, Mario.
I know that reference. I get it. No, I said it to you guys in break. I'm a Halloween Grinch. I do not like Halloween. My siblings ruined it for me when I was little. They made me watch Michael Myers' Halloween too early, scared me really bad, and then they tortured me about it for about 5 years. So I stopped trick-or-treating when I was in second grade. Haven't looked back since, and I haven't put on a costume in about 2 years. I feel good about it.
See, you're missing. I think he looks like Trevor Lawrence.
No.
His nose isn't big enough for Trevor Lawrence, but I mean, you throw a fake nose on there. I mean,
he reacted relatively violently to the Trevor Lawrence.
I do not like. So the two worst comparisons I've ever gotten with long hair is Trevor Lawrence, and then this was like 2 years ago now. Someone goes, "Hey, are you literally Kenny Pickett?" Like just randomly when I was walking in Indianapolis.
All right,
just stopped
we can't see your hands right now, so we don't know. You could actually be Kenny Pickett. There we go. They look like. I mean, they don't look like
looking like normal. So not baby hands. Not baby hands. Hey, I'm glad we brought this conversation up because we had a conversation earlier in the show that I'm kind of curious as to your input here. We went, Mario, and we looked at every quarterback who has been drafted between the first and fifth round dating back to 2019. And we asked about every one of those quarterbacks, would you label them as successful, whatever your definition was, right? And basically, we came up with like 4 or 5, right? And there's a few that were contested. Like I say Tua Tagovailoa is successful. Lonzo doesn't. Jalen Hurts has gone to a Super Bowl. I say successful, even if it's not going great for him now. But you look at this year's class. As of right now, I'd say Jaden Daniels is successful. Caleb Williams looks like he's figuring it out, and it's taken him time by time. But outside of that, and Bo Nix, Bo Nix isn't as bad as I thought he was going to be, but he's nowhere near where I would say is successful for Captain Checkdown just yet. But if you go back to 2019 and look at every quarterback drafted from the first to fifth round, there's like a few. It's like Joe Burrow's one of them, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, I can't say is successful, though he looks better this year. The guys that you can say, like Baker, Sam Darnold, whatever, most of these guys are guys that we don't label successful until like 5-6 years in. I heard a take from Tom Brady a while back that he got asked, like, why are rookie quarterbacks struggling so much? And his answer was because the college football model has transitioned from a model that is about players to a model that is about money. It's not about developing players anymore. It's about making as much success and therefore money as you can. And so when guys come out of college football, they haven't been trained on how to be a great quarterback. They've been trained on how to create success for their team, whatever that ends up looking like. What is your theory on the reason why? And somebody pointed out earlier on the show, you can go back and you look at guys like Cam and Andrew Luck and RG3 that we all thought were going to be dominant, that were, okay. What is your theory, if you agree with the sentiment, that rookie quarterbacks are not succeeding at the rate that you'd like them to when transitioning to the league in 2024 and really the last couple of years?
So I think it's a couple things, right? One, I'm going to push back. Dude, Cam Newton was pretty successful. Went to a Super Bowl.
That's true. He did go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, went to a Super Bowl, was an MVP, business decision, I know, but still, like, I'd say that career is still marked up as a pretty successful career. I think the defensive improvement the past couple of years is a big reason why the quarterbacks have struggled. Like, the defensive minds, defensive strategies has kind of been taken up a notch, and that's why you've seen, like, just in gambling wise too, like unders have kind of came in pretty hot. And when you see earlier in the season, offenses tend to struggle because, defenses kind of bring a different energy and different schemes to, the game every single year. So I think that's also part of this equation as well. I think the only reason why quarterbacks are kind of struggling is, like, I always try to remind people, you can't, like, every quarterback I think should be given at least 3 years to really know how good they are, right? Like, if you cut off Josh Allen right after his rookie year, we don't see the Josh Allen we have today. You know what I mean? Like, you got to give these guys a little bit of time to develop. And remember, the QBs that are getting drafted, top 5, there's a reason why that team's top 5. It's not because they just went 17-0 and they have everything you need to be successful. It's because they literally stunk up the whole freaking season, and they're the worst teams in the NFL. They're coming into systems where they're rebuilding. So, like, it's hard right away to hit the ground running. I think another factor, this is a little big brain theory, here. So stay along for the ride. With getting paid now in college, I think that the sense of arrival comes earlier, where if I'm 19 years old and I'm playing football for Wisconsin, I'm the starting quarterback, and I'm getting paid $3 million, $2 million, whatever the hell it is, there's a little bit of edge you lose because you're like, oh, wow, I can afford, to get my mom a car. I can afford, a pretty nice apartment right now. Hey, I can go to Lululemon. I get some designer stuff. Like, you see how, like, that mentality could change, could affect you. And I always go back to that fighter mentality where it's hardest to be a champion and to stay a champion than it is to, get to a champion. Because as soon as you get it, it's like, oh, we're there. We're on top of the mountain. But now you got to defend it. And I think that's kind of like happening a little bit maybe in college football, where, like, these guys are getting paid so much early, the sense of arrival happens, and, like, the work maybe not be as there as it was previously. And I still like guys getting paid, by the way. That's not ripping that.
Yeah, and it's not unfair. I threw one more that I'll throw in there and get your thoughts on it. We talk about guys like Caleb Williams, and you just kind of hit on it. Teams that are drafting quarterbacks in the first 5 picks are there because the team stinks. And I look at Carolina, I look at Chicago last year, I look whatever. And the problem is when you go draft a rookie quarterback, because of the fact that you're that bad, a lot of fans, coaches, managers, GMs, owners, whatever, want drafting a quarterback to be an immediate fix, as if the quarterback is the only guy who determines the value of the team, right? So I go back, and this has been my defense for a hot minute now, of Bryce Young in Carolina, for instance. This team sucks. Not a little. This team sucks. In every element of the game, this team sucks. And yet you expected a kid to come in there out of the University of Alabama, which, in this plays to your side of the theory, he had nothing but success. Heisman Trophy, national championships, playoff appearances, yada, yada, yada. You expect this kid to come in and just, like, be Peyton Manning and fix the squad immediately. It don't work like that. And I think because of that, you add the pressure of being a savior. I've kind of jokingly been calling Caleb Williams the Windy City Savior for a year now, knowing full well that, and in fairness, Caleb Williams is probably a bad example, because they went and they got DJ Moore, and they went and got the guy out of San Diego, and they went and got the Andre Swift, who was an excellent screen and out route running, catching running back, etc. But I look at, like, Carolina, who got rid of DJ Moore and got rid of Christian McCaffrey and got rid of Bradley Bozeman, who is now out in Los Angeles, and got rid of all these players, and then went, now we want you to come here and succeed. My man, I don't care if you put Brady in there. That team's still going to be a bad football team. When you add all that pressure onto a young quarterback, I don't understand why people are shocked that there's dramatically more failures than there are successes.
And to that point, too, I think we're an impatient society where, like, you see CJ Stroud, who just hits the ground running. You You see that. You see Jaden Daniels that kind of hits the ground running, right? Bo Nix, it's taken like a little bit longer, but you get my point. Some of this stuff takes time. Tua took time. Like, I know you say whatever you want about Tua, but like Tua's first couple years, it was kind of, not the prettiest. Josh Allen took time. Peyton Manning took time. Drew freaking Brees took time. Burrow took time. Like, these guys take a little bit to be the players they are. People forget Mahomes sat a year. Jordan Love is a really good damn quarterback. He sat multiple years behind Aaron Rodgers. Like, there's, again, like you mentioned, like there's factors that go into it. And like, I'm a Brock Purdy stand. I think he's a very, very good player. But I guarantee you, if you put 9 out of 10 rookie quarterbacks that have a lot of potential in a Kyle Shanahan system with those weapons, they're, I don't know if they go to a Super Bowl, but they're going to be pretty good. They're going to be a playoff team. So you got to like always factor that in. And, Rome wasn't built in a day. So always kind of remember that. And just because he's not killing it right away doesn't mean, he's a bust. Like 3 years to see how good of a football player you really are.
I accept that. Hayden S. Mario Herron from the BetQL Network joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Looking up and down the slate for this weekend, Mario, we're kind of getting to the point. Actually, nope. Let me put that in reverse for a second. What's your take on this whole Anthony Richardson scenario?
Oh my gosh. First off, he's bad. He's just not a very good quarterback. And I think it goes to show, we talked about all these developing of quarterback stuff. When you have a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, when he plays the game at the highest level, it's going to look like he hasn't played a lot of football. And like, that's just what it is with the Indianapolis Colts. And then when he taps his helmet saying, I'm too tired, I got to come out. And in that scenario, too, he has a backup quarterback that's been playing better than him. In that scenario, too, he has a GM that wants to win now. He has an owner that wants to win now. And he has a head coach that wants to win now. All that, buddy, watch tape of Max Duggan on TCU, and it literally looked like every time he hit the ground, that's the last time he'll ever get up, and it's the last breath he's ever going to breathe. And just take a deep breath, get up, man, and just do it one more play. It was a bad look. It was a tough look. I also don't know, by the way, if I love Shane Steichen going to Flacco. I really don't know if I love that. It's very clear to me that the team is not behind that. Like he saw it yesterday at press conference. Is the team behind this move? He says, I cannot speak for my team. You might as well just say the locker room's pretty divided on it. Anthony Richardson's very well liked. I think he's very well supported. And you got to give the kid that hasn't played a lot of football more chances to play football. I don't think it's a chance of, hey, sit behind and let a 40-year-old chuck a football everywhere. But at the same time, buddy, don't tap your helmet and say, I need to come out.
I gotta think, though. This is like, Lonzo and I love the phrase, this is a teachable moment. And I think it is, because I'll tell you, regardless of whether or not he's liked in the locker room, I got to imagine if my man taps himself on the helmet, takes himself out because he's tired, and then he goes back to the huddle a couple of plays later, where there's a bunch of big, ugly offensive linemen who have been in a battle with 350-pound nose tackles every snap, and he goes, sorry, boys, I was winded. I got to imagine if I'm the starting center for the Colts, I'm looking at him like, screw you, kid. Like, get out of here. I'm out here fighting for my life against some of the biggest, strongest dudes on planet Earth, and you got gas from running 10 yards on a sneak. Like, no. I think this is more along the lines of, like, we're going to have to teach him a little bit of the do's and don'ts. Sometimes it's okay. Just say you're hurt. Just lie. Yeah. Just say, oh, my ankle's hurt. I need a break. Let a trainer tape it up so it looks legit and go down, because now you got to go face a bunch of dudes in the huddle busting their ass to keep you upright and go, sorry, boys, I was tired. Like, it's just not good. I am always a defend the player guy. Always have been, always will be. I can't do it.
Well, also to that point, like, think about it, divisional game too, where you already lost one of the Texans and you kind of need to, beat them a second time around, like another factor in this whole thing. Also, as a quarterback, you mentioned the O-line. They have to go balls to the wall every single play. As a quarterback, maybe you tell me there couldn't be something where he looks at Steichen and go, hey, I need to, run plays here for JT. And you can't scheme up your two best run plays. And then all you got to do, hike, hand off. That doesn't take a lot of energy. You know what I mean? You catch your breath after two of those plays and you go, all right, now you can, call whatever you want to call. That's the other thing that didn't make sense to me. Is how about a little communication? Go, hey, just, these next 2 plays, let's just run the damn ball.
Yeah, I will say there is a little bit there, but he's got to know better in that situation. All right, your Chargers embarrassed the hell up out of my New Orleans Saints last weekend. My team sucks. I hate them. I will fist fight Dennis Allen on sight, but Jim Harbaugh kind of feels like he's got a little something rolling. Justin Herbert starting to, he said coming into the year, drafted a bunch of linemen, drafted Joe Altup out of Notre Dame, which I really like that pick. That kid's a slugger, dude. He's a machine. Yeah. But he said, we're going to be a run team. It was like 65% pass last weekend for Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Kind of feels to me like maybe Jim Harbaugh's a little bit ahead of schedule. Team still got some roster building, still needs to improve some talent here and there, but I kind of think Jim Harbaugh might actually have been the right pick for that job.
I think he was the perfect pick for the job. I think what they're finding out now is that, hey, our run game, we can't constantly rely on. Like, if you literally looked earlier in the season for versus where they're at now, the past 2 weeks, there was a conversation, maybe it happened during the bye week of, hey, we have one of the best QBs in the NFL. Look, we got to start airing out. It doesn't matter that our weapons are one of the worst in the league. We got to start airing the football out. And I think you've seen that the past couple of weeks because the run game's been stopped because the interior O-linemen are not the best. Our tackle's fantastic. You're not getting around them. But the interior push is not amazing. And they're, bottom half in the NFL when it comes to rushing yards per game. But Herbert has been able to extend plays and played his best football. You got PFF. He was the highest graded player on the offensive side of the football throughout the NFL. Like, he played a hell of a game, probably his most perfect game of the season. It's just this team learning, hey, we got to, really lean on the passing game. We can lean on Ladd now. He's finding his way. He's creating separation. He's really working on his route running. We just need, I think if they're serious this year, Rob, they make a trade for a receiver right now. But I don't think they're serious about this year. I think they go, hey, let's, make the playoffs, and then let's build on this. And let's, make something that's sustainable. So, yes, it's impressive. Do I think they're ahead of schedule? Maybe by literally a day. Like, I think this is all going according to plan, to be honest.
Mario Heron, a.k.a. Hayton Ass Mario from the BetQL Network, joins us every Thursday at 9 o'clock straight up to talk NFL football. We will, in the future, start sprinkling a little NBA up in her as we move forward. Hey, congrats to Bronny James for taking 5 games to get his first couple of points. Happy for that kid.
Wow, that's amazing. That's good for him. Did you get off the floor so he could do it?
Did you jump into the massive this is manufactured, therefore I don't care about it bit like everybody else seemed to do?
I thought it was cool. Here's what I was saying. I thought it was cool, but it didn't like change my day. Like, it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I think about it. And and by the way, like, that's how life goes. That's life. If your dad's pretty good at something and he's, pretty big in some part of the world and you get into that world, I would
agree, but there ain't a whole hell of a lot of 41-year-old NBA players. LeBron had to make it 20 plus years.
Yeah,
not many people can do that.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Like I said, it's impressive. Like, it's awesome. I'm very happy for him and his family, but it's not gonna, nice.
Nice.
Like, that's all I got.
Mario Heron from the BetQL Network. You can hear him as the executive producer of BetMGM tonight every single weeknight from 7 to 11 p.m. with Ryan Horvath and Brad Evans right here on this very station and find Odyssey stations around the world. And you can hear him every Thursday at 9 o'clock here on the Rob Brown Show. Big dog, appreciate you. Enjoy the NFL weekend, partner.
May the force be with you.
And also with you. I think that's what you're supposed to say. I don't know.
I'm Sith, so, I have nothing to say.
Let the hate flow through you. See you next week, big fella.
Sayonara.
Hayton Ass Mario from the BetQL Network. We are back with Fight Club right after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Salvation Army.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you. Good stuff. I will send you the last 3 when I get done with the show today.
Force is strong.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right. Welcome back to the show. It is time for the Fight Club, where we talk all things wrestling, MMA, boxing, and we do it with the Force because we're dressed as a Jedi and a Sith Lord. So that's what you do. You do it with the Force.
This is the segment you're looking for.
Yes, it is, for sure. Coming up Saturday, which I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but it doesn't really matter what I think. The fact that WWE Crown Jewel is happening, but it's happening at 1 p.m. So, I mean, it's like a night in Saudi Arabia, but it's 1 p.m. up against some good college football games, including
Real good.
including Ohio State versus Penn State. So I will watch this probably Sunday morning, but I'm looking forward to some of these matches. Maybe not so much this one, but it's on the docket. So let's talk about WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, who are your current champions, going up against Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, and Io Sky and Kairi Sane.
I would like another Damage Control run, and I think they're set up for it. And I think the workhorse rate they're on has been a lot of fun showing up on NXT, also having matches on the main roster. But I think and still.
This is hard for me because they're pushing Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson pretty hard, and they're showing up a bunch of different places to interfere and things like that. This should be a pretty fun match. I'm going to go with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven because I think it's time for them to have.
I want it on the record. I'll never be happier. All right. Chelsea Green might genuinely, like, not even funny, haha. Chelsea Green might be my favorite thing going in the WWE right now. She's a riot. She's the best. She's hilarious. She's comedy gold. Did you see the video she put up on social media the other day? It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. First off, Chelsea Green, I was unfamiliar with your game, and I apologize. Second off, the chick is freaking hilarious, dude. I hope, and also Piper Niven goes. I'm a fan. I hope they win. But realistically, I think you are setting up a feud between Bianca and Jade and the NXT ladies.
Agreed, which is why I think Piper and Chelsea Green will somehow sneak in and steal it in between. I
think they're in there to be the pin eater, unfortunately.
All
I
right.
hope I'm wrong.
All right, next match, a United States Championship. I just don't care about this match. I know I probably should. LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmella Hayes. I get LA Knight's a guy and everything, but I've never thought he was that interesting. I mean, so he got a belt finally, but what's he doing with it? I'm gonna go Carmelo here.
This is a risk because I can see why they would. But I don't think they de-strap LA Knight on this show. I think you can run this a little bit more juice. I will also say this. I feel like for probably the last 6-7 months, I feel like the U.S. Championship has just kind of become like generic throwaway mid-card belt, right? Like for a while there.
You know, it wasn't when someone else held it.
Yeah, but I don't put it on LA Knight. I mean, at the end of the day, LA Knight can't book himself. And
when Logan Paul had it, it had some.
Yeah, but Logan Paul sucks as a person.
Yeah, right? That may be true.
They de-strapped him for a reason, and it's a good reason, but they de-strapped him for a reason. But here's the thing. I don't think Logan Paul made that rivalry interesting.
No, I think he made the belt interesting for a while.
I do too, but it wasn't because of him. It was because of A, cameo, and B, the fact that they were putting this relative unknown in the wrestling world up against a guy who, I don't care if you don't like him, was one of the most organically over people that they've had since Daniel Bryan.
He's all right. I mean, it's just I don't go to the arena to see the guy.
Right. That's your subjective opinion, which is fine. There are guys you love that I don't feel that way about. Girls you love, I don't feel that way about. But what cannot be disputed is that LA Knight was the most organically over guy in the company for a very long time. And I think he brought that feud there.
All right. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens needs to be the next champion, but they're going to put the belt. So the question is WWE going to make John Cena have the most championships of all time? and then turn around and give it to Randy Orton, and it ended up being Randy Orton?
I don't know. And this is one of those things that is relatively interesting, not just because we're talking about the outcomes of rivalries, but we're talking about how we are going to be talking about wrestling on the Fight Club 20 years from now, right? Like we saw Cena do it. We saw Orton do it, whatever. I don't know is the answer. I do think the belt is ultimately ending up on Kevin Owens. That being said, I think Randy probably wins in Saudi Arabia, and KO is set up for a Cody feud next.
All right, so there was a time when Saudi Arabia, especially when it first started for Crown Jewel, was just a throwaway. Storylines didn't make sense, nothing like that. But now it is a part of everything else. So stories are continued there. There's not really that many one-offs anymore. I'm going to go with KO to beat Randy Orton. The next match is Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. I love the build of Bronson Reed. This is how he should have been built the entire time. I don't know what the end game is with it. Does he move on from Seth Rollins to start beating up on the next guy? I don't know. I loved him and Braun Strowman. And it's the old David versus Goliath thing, except this time it's crazy versus big as far as Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed go. It would be a bigger win for Bronson Reed if he wins, and Seth Rollins doesn't need to win. I'm going to go with Bronson Reed.
I'm going to go with Seth Rollins. And you are right about what you said about Saudi Arabia. They are working storylines into it versus what they used to do, which is just put two guys in there and let them go for the sake of having some matches. But I will also go one step further and say there's another variable, which is it's not exactly a very closely guarded secret that WWE, and they are doing this for oil money, blood money, regular money, whatever kind of money you want to call it. They almost kind of let the Saudi royal family book this show, right? Like you're popping their favorite so that they give you another $5 billion next year to run this thing back. And Seth Rollins is, much like LA Knight, just a dude that's over. He's just over. I'm not going to say this about every match, but I think for this one, this is one that you're going to let the Saudis pick their winner, and their winner will be Seth Rollins.
All right, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline. This thing got more interesting because I think everyone, we've even speculated that Sami Zayn will be their fourth whenever Survivor Series rolls around. But now Sami talked to everybody, and then the last thing you saw on Raw was Sami in the parking lot talking to baby brother and the head of the new Bloodline. Will this come into play in this match? I don't think that Roman Reigns and the Usos win. I think the Bloodline wins.
I would agree with you because you need that to happen for the build, and I think you can do it. Listen, I think you're going to get a history repeats itself sometimes in wrestling because the history was entertaining, and you can run it back with different people and use the same angle and have it work. I think you are going to have Sami talking to the Usos and being like, look, dude, like I was trying to figure out a way to calm this before your family blows itself up. And that's why I was talking to Solo. And then you can have one Uso believe him, one Uso not believe him. You go through the whole thing that led up to the trial of Sami Zayn, which was a wonderful segment they did a number of years ago, which was the first time that Roman accepted Sami into the Bloodline, which was a great moment. I think you can basically tell that story again, and I think it starts here. I think Sami's involved in this. I don't know how yet, but I will go the OG Bloodline wins this one. I think it gets pinned on Sami, and then we run that angle back.
All right, two more matches to go. WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Nia Jax versus Liv Morgan. I'm surprised that it made it this far because I thought for sure that Nia would no longer have the belt, but she still does. And so Nia versus Liv Morgan. This is a hard one to pick because I don't know how this – either one of these matches that we're about to talk about, are they building who hurts the most by losing? So I think I got to go with Nia Jax to win, even though Raquel is going to interfere for sure.
100% dirty finish. 100% dirty finish. The question mark is who, because you also have to keep in mind there is one more variable floating out around there.
Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time. So we can, I think part of the ploy here has been to get us all dialed in and focused on Raquel and what she brings to the Liv Morgan stable, and not be thinking about Tiffy with the briefcase out there somewhere. I'm gonna go Liv wins, but it's because Tiffy takes out Nia and cashes in and takes the belt, and that allows you to keep Liv hot, and you set up Nia's next angle with Tiffany Stratton while also putting a belt on Tiffany Stratton.
By the way, that really that works for me too. And finally, WWE Crown Jewel Championship: Cody Rhodes versus Gunther. And
I'm sorry, whom?
Friend of the show.
Thank
Gunther.
you.
I'm going with Gunther on this. I know that probably everyone believes it's going to be Cody Rhodes, but you spent all this time building up Gunther. I think he needs to win this match.
I completely agree. I think he does. I don't think, listen, Cody is white hot babyface, boring champion to me, but it doesn't matter how I feel. It matters what moves merch. And Cody Rhodes is still getting all that. I think you can do it in a way that you still protect Cody. Although I don't really think Cody needs all that much protection. If you want me to believe that Gunther remains a certifiable top-notch champion, then I think he's got to win this. If he loses to Cody, what belief do I have that Gunther is this big, terrifying Austrian monster anymore?
Agreed.
And also friend of the show.
Yeah, and we've seen him and know what a terrifying Austrian monster
It
he is.
would be, except he holds the door for you and says, pleasure to meet you. I am Walter.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, no.
Yeah, but most really bad guys. I mean, his in-ring
Bond
persona
villain
right
bad
now,
guy.
for sure.
Yeah.
The Bond villains are nice. They are. Until it's time for the nefarious plans to come to action.
What did Dalton say in Roadhouse? Be nice until it's time to not be nice. That's
Exactly.
Gunther.
Three more things really quick. Rhea Ripley out with supposable orbital bone damage.
That's bad.
She got taken out by Liv Morgan and Raquel on NXT, which is on fire right now. By the way.
Worker shoot.
Yeah. Rumors are that she's really hurt and needing to recover.
That's a bummer.
But they left her bloody in a car, and it was pretty
It looked
cool.
gnarly, dude.
Yeah, when they walked away with the
It looked gnarly. She was all busted up.
And someone tweeted the picture of bloody Rhea Ripley, which was great.
Mommy, get well soon. If you need anything, call me. I got your back. All right.
Yeah, whatever.
Take your time, mommy. I need you coming back better than ever.
Don't get seen at an AEW show. All right. Speaking of AEW, Bobby Lashley debuted last night. Are you shocked? The Hurt Business is back in business.
Nope. The moment Shelton and MVP showed up on AEW, I'm like, Lashley's next.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you started hearing Lashley didn't want to sign a new contract with WWE. It was an inevitability that Bobby Lashley was going to show up. And I popped nonetheless. The Hurt Business was one of the best things WWE has done in a very long time. And I cannot believe to this day that they screwed that up. I'm glad of all of the WWE cast off, there's been more and more that I'm like that doesn't do anything for me as a guy who wants AEW to be good. Lashley in the Hurt Business with MVP absolutely moves the needle in my opinion.
So many things going on in AEW right now. Will it get lost? And you hope it won't. Finally, John Jones settled out of court with his dispute with the drug testing. I don't know if you remember. He got pretty angry with someone who tried to do a random drug test with him, and they were suing him. And his penance, 4 hours of anger management.
4 is not it. It should be 4 hours a day. Should be 4 hours a day for 4 months is what it should be. 4 hours every day for 4 months. John Jones is going to go, despite all the success that he's had, John Jones is going to be towards the top of the Rob Brown power ranking of what could have been professional athletes. John Jones, being in a good headspace through his career, might have gone down as the greatest MMA fighter of all time. And now he's just going down as a really, really good one. And that kind of bums me out a little bit. All right, come back, talk some World Series, and wrap it up. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. It's the Fan Upstate. I should have rocked this swoop to interview Marty yesterday. I forgot to ask him about the swoop.
Well, we know his swoop was probably bad.
He was wearing a hat.
So I mean, yeah, but what if you pulled the hat off and the swoop just automatically just popped up and it was there?
Something, something, Cody Rhodes. Adrenaline in my soul. Something, something, Cody Rhodes. In what is today's FAFO moment of the day? I hate Twitter sometimes. There's a video going around of this guy. He is a live streamer. By live streaming, one of these people that goes and he just streams himself walking around being obnoxious in a public place. He went to Korea and apparently was walking up and taunting Korean people and like, I dare you to hit me. I dare you to hit me. And then a bunch of Koreans took him up on it and just laid him out live on his own stream. Subscribe. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Again, today, you're all about violence and you're wearing Jedi robes. You are turning to the dark side and we're seeing it happen. I mean, it's kind of scary.
There are times when even the legendary Qui-Gon Jinn lit up the lightsaber. All right?
Yeah, last time he died.
Preferring peace does not mean that you are adverse to utilizing violence.
Watched episode 1 again yesterday to prepare for my role today. Let the granddaughter watch it because testing the theory. She loved Jar Jar Binks, by the way, because it was, that movie,
was the point of Jar Jar Binks.
The movie was made for little kids. So what's your go-to Halloween movie, people, that you have to watch every Halloween? There's so many. Had to tune in a couple times this week for Halloween marathons, I think on AMC. Still, I may watch Lost Boys tonight before I go to bed. Or I may go home and buy Dragon Age Veilguard, which comes out today.
I have lost my internet again because somebody drove a repair truck through my neighborhood and it cut the fiber line that runs from across the street to my house.
That sucks.
Yes, it does. So I'm not playing anything tonight. Can I tell you honestly, like Lonzo asked during the break, he's like, what's the go-to Halloween watch, right? Halloween movie, scary movie, horror movie, whatever. What's the go-to watch? And I told you guys earlier, I'm not a horror movie fan. I do love Halloween. I am fascinated, probably to an unacceptable level. I am fascinated by death. I am fascinated by the macabre. I am fascinated by just the stuff we can't know about until we're incapable of knowing things anymore. I'm fascinated by that stuff. I'm fascinated by the way that people handle death, react to death, the traditions we have around death. I am fascinated by this stuff. In fact, when we went to a couple of years ago, when we went to Boston, the very first place that I wanted to go to was the old Granary Burial Ground, which is where Sam Adams is buried there. John Adams is buried there. The victims of the Boston Massacre are buried there. I wanted to go pay respect to a bunch of heroes, but also I'm fascinated by the way that we as Americans and as humans throughout years have focused on death. I really don't have like a go-to Halloween movie. What I will do tonight to celebrate Halloween, because I'm about to make Lonzo laugh. Because tonight the celebration is for the lady friend and I for Halloween. We are going to see great one, a string symphony play Halloween horror movie theme songs in concert. Right? So like the
Well,
Halloween
why am I
theme
going
and
to laugh
Jaws and all
about
that.
that? That sounds
Because
awesome.
it's Halloween night and I'm going to the symphony. But I will be going dressed as a Jedi.
But we all expect you to do something fancy. So yes, I mean, you know.
That being said,
it's a very upper crust type thing to do. You keep trying to dispel these things,
okay,
and
in
then
fairness,
you do everything to reinforce it.
In fairness, I need the people to know. Rob Brown is a full-size candy on Halloween night for the trick-or-treaters guy. I want that. I got a 12-foot skeleton in my front yard. All right. I am all about it. The problem is my neighborhood does not get trick-or-treaters. We got 2 last year, and they were my neighbors, right? So, like, the plan tonight is when the lady friend gets home from work, I'm going to go next door to the house where those 2 kids live. I'm going to just give them some Halloween candy. I'm going to reverse trick-or-treat for them. And then we're going to go see a symphony tonight. And then I'm going to come home. And for Halloween night, since it is Thursday, there's like a couple of smaller college football games on, but no baseball. Pellies aren't playing tonight.
There is NFL.
There is an NFL game. I don't even know who's playing tonight. That's terrible. I don't even know who's
why
playing
I said
tonight.
there is NFL.
And not who's playing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fair. No, it's fair. I have no idea. You're not alone. I don't know. You know what I prefer to watch for Halloween? I will watch straight up uncensored murder documentaries. Just straight up murder docs. Like the ones that like show the graphic crime
By the
scene
way,
and everything.
Houston and Jets tonight.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch a murder documentary tonight.
Okay, all right.
I'm gonna watch the Jets once again be murdered on live television. Can we label Aaron Rodgers a coach killer now? I think we can. I think I can label Aaron Rodgers a coach killer at this point.
No.
I think we can.
I don't know what this we stuff is. You say, can you?
Okay, can
you can do whatever you want.
Do you think football fans at this point are, speaking of Halloween and murders, do we think that Aaron Rodgers is a coach murderer now? I think he is. I think he murdered Mike McCarthy at Green Bay. I think he murdered Robert Saleh. He brought his own OC. That didn't work out. He got the next guy canned. Like the last 4 or 5 years of Aaron Rodgers' career have been nothing but coach killing.
I don't think he's doing anything different than a lot of other quarterbacks have done. So, I mean,
what quarterback in the league has anywhere near the drama around him that Aaron Rodgers does?
Russell Wilson. And the drama is it's one side or the other. It's not a universal drama, and it's all centered around certain things. You hate them because of something, or you love them because of something.
No.
Yeah.
I think
you can do that. And I'm not saying it's you. It may or may not be.
No, you are, and that's okay.
No,
I'm not offended by it.
Again, he is polarizing because of that. I tend to look at what he's done on the field, and lately he hasn't been as good. But you know why? Because he's 40 years old.
Oh, for sure. The age is the number one reason.
I mean, and the injury. I think the injury last year, before he got hurt, for like 2 or 3 plays, he looked really good. So I think the injury messed him up. It's harder to recover from an injury when you get older. And he's not as fast as he used to be. Of course he's not. The player saying he's not. He's recovering from an injury, and he's old.
40.
Yeah.
I think that you look at it and you go, part of my animosity towards Aaron Rodgers is because of his politics. It's not. I disagree with his politics vehemently, but it's not. I've got plenty of guys that have played for football teams that I vehemently disagree with their politics, but I like them. I'm just looking at the trajectory from Green Bay to the New York Jets, and there is not another quarterback in the league that has had the amount of drama self-caused around him,
Russell
in my
Wilson.
opinion.
Russell
I
Wilson.
don't think Russell Wilson.
He's got a ton of drama around Russell
What's the drama around Russell Wilson?
Diva had an office. There's a lot of things.
Is that on him? That Nathaniel Hackett gave him his own office?
Yeah.
If they walked in here today
and
said, Rob Brown, we'd like to build a 3rd story on this building, and the whole 3rd story is your office, do you think I'm saying no to be a team player?
It's a very
love you, buddy. You can come up and
scenario.
visit me in my penthouse office anytime you want, but I'm taking the damn office.
I'm not going up there. It would make me dizzy.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, so just about everything I've tried to put down on What the X keeps getting canceled. And
why? Did it say something racist?
No. What are you talking about? I mean,
because it got canceled.
Canceled out.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you said that wasn't a thing.
You said it
didn't exist.
That was a joke.
Yeah, but You were
Very funny
serious
one, if
when
you
you
ask
said
me.
it didn't exist. All right, the first thing that's Xing, and it was just on the TV, I've had it all day, is Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin is Xing because Macaulay Culkin's Halloween costume this year is Joey Ice Burrow, and it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Hey, you know what he looks like? He looks like Joe Burrow if Joe Burrow played for the Jets. That's what Macaulay Culkin looks like. Like Joe Burrow if he was Aaron Rodgers. It's a pretty good costume.
Okay, I don't get that. He looks like an emaciated Joe Burrow is what he looks
Right,
like.
like if he played for the Jets.
Okay, I don't know why you can't.
Because he'd be getting the hell beat out of him and look really
so
bad.
It's not you can't afford food in New York? I don't know. All right,
No.
the next thing that's Xing is WWE ID.
All right, so I did see this earlier. Effectively, the WWE, and I do think this is a good call, depending on or pretending to what's happening with TNA and their relationship with NXT and what AEW has been doing over the last couple of years, et cetera, et cetera. But WWE ID is effectively a program that WWE has created that allows professional wrestlers to get onto the radar of WWE and make the path from smaller indie wrestling organizations up to the WWE a little bit easier to navigate. And I think it's a great idea. Because while, one thing you got to do if you're WWE, you can't just like constantly be turning over talent, having new stars, but you do need a pipeline for the next group of stars. And I think this is a really interesting way to open up access to more people, which means you're going to find better wrestlers. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's very, very cool. And finally, the last thing that's Xing is trick or treat.
It is Halloween. Listen, if you are going out trick-or-treating, whether it's you or you're taking the children or whatever you're doing, please be careful while you're out there. Number 2, if you are going to be out and about driving around tonight, slow the bleep down, okay? Whatever you have to do, it's worth being a minute or two late to not take out a little ghost or goblin. Number 3, give out good candy. I swear if you're one of these people that gives out apples, you're a bad person.
All right, what's your go-to? What's the candy that you wanted as a kid?
Go-to for me when I was a kid was a Reese's Cup. Still is. I will fight a man for a Reese's Cup. A good, and they just came out with new ones, Lonzo. They're king size, the big, thick Reese's Cups.
Yeah.
And they're the regular Reese's Cup, but now they have a layer of melted milk or dark chocolate on top of that. Also, dark chocolate's gross. Why is dark chocolate a thing?
I love dark chocolate.
Oh, come
I think
on.
it's amazing.
Come on.
One of the better chocolates out there.
Dark chocolate is what happens if you take all the things that make chocolate taste good out of chocolate.
I
You get dark chocolate.
also really enjoy white chocolate.
I do like white chocolate.
I mean, I'm
Inside my top 5 power rankings is Hershey's cookies and cream white chocolate candy bar. That's way up at the top.
pretty good, but the aftertaste. I mean, it has a little bit of chalky aftertaste.
You're not wrong, which is why I just eat another piece, And
By the
then
way, I
you're-
made a mistake last night and went to Spirit Halloween. Wow. There was like 3,000 people trying to get in there.
Oh, for sure.
And all was left was like crayon costumes. It was kind of fun to watch and just see the line was out the doors. Like, yeah, even if I do find something to buy here, I'm not going
Going to be a lot of crayons running around Greenville tonight. Y'all be safe out there tonight, whether you're going trick-or-treating or you will be outside trick-or-treating or whatever. Please be safe. Please be careful. Enjoy your Halloween. Come back tomorrow where Lonzo and I may or may not dress up like Jedi's and Sith Lords again because I bought the costume. Why not use it, right? Have a great day. Do not drink and drive. I will punch you in the face again. Be very careful out there. Have a lovely rest of your Halloween. And ladies and gentlemen, may the Force be with you. That is
What? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I just.
I mean, it fit for the commercial that started playing.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate is heel chocolate. It really is. It really is.
As long as you get some sweetness in the dark chocolate, if you try to go over and get what we tested the Akai level or something, I don't know. Chris had us do a whole thing, and there are levels, and it gets more bitter as you go up, and it was one of our original taste tests, and it's not good. I mean, it's so bad.
Courtney bought a bag of the zombie Skittles.
Yeah. Oh man, we did that. We did that, and I got to the last one, and it was a zombie Skittle. I don't know what that is. It's bad though. So did you try them
I
yet?
mean,
Okay.
he has them. We haven't opened them.
Yeah.
Terrified of them because of
Oh, you should be.
Yeah.
You should be. Patrick and Chris were all upset because I'm just going through all of them, and was like, I got nothing, man. I got nothing. And then the last,
somebody got one?
no, they went first.
Oh,
they
okay.
got them, and they thought I wasn't going to get one. And the very last one, it was like, oh, this is bad. This is not good. I almost immediately thought I was going to be ill. It was nasty.
Our parlay v parlay challenge punishment. Nobody's won in a couple of weeks, but our challenge punishment right now is the 1-chip challenge. 4 times during the show, start of every hour, you got to do a 1-chip challenge.
They're going to die.
It's entertaining.
Is it?
Yeah. All right, dudes and dudettes, you're all spectacular people. Thanks for being here. Have the happiest of Halloweens. Dress up, have fun. You're allowed to enjoy your life. Here's the problem I have now before we sign off. Lonzo, I have an 11:30 lunch with a professional person. Do I go as a Jedi?
You mean like the professional people that we had on the air today on stream?
Yeah,
and
but they
saw
were
us-
in my world. I'm going to
Okay.
their world for this, right?
All
Like,
right.
I'm going to their world. Do I go as a Jedi and just be like, shut up, it's Halloween, this is what you get? Like, if you don't like it, don't sign on to the show? Or do I throw on a pair of jeans and a quarter zip and then change back into a Jedi later this afternoon? I'm conflicted.
From what I understand, it's very difficult to get in and out of the costume that you're
It
wearing.
is, but I don't only have to do it once. Like, I brought the jeans and QZ with me in case I decided
All
to
right.
change.
So if this was a prospective client who's trying to get onto the show, what you can say is, hey, this is the kind of attention.
This is what you're getting, bud.
This is the kind of attention that you'll get if you sign on to the show. You see how everyone's looking at me? They're going to be looking at your product when we talk about it on the air.
That's a good pitch.
Yeah. And still they don't. Well, anyway, you all suck and you're missing out on someone who knows what they're doing. Anyhow.
All right. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for being here. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to be famous. May the force be with you.